Someone check whether we're on.
Oh, it's so hot.
Twitch.
Are we on the Twitches? Are we on the things?
Jeannement.
Oh,
yeah. We are.
We are on. Oh, look at that cat.
We are.
I'm going to squeeze it really hard.
As you can see on the stream, we have the beautiful Mr. James Gifford joining us, everyone. In his own nice little box with his own little Valentine character that he drew.
It's so nice in here.
Ages ago, and also a nice little symbol above his head, a little Valentine symbol. A little butterfly.
He's bringing up the average attractiveness of the group.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, big time. Who? Actually, let's not get into it now. Boil up a pot, squat a pop next to the fire, and enjoy a glass of delicious non-alcoholic mead with the Johnny McQuesters. Tonight.
Look at that pair of eyes coming out of Mike's dick.
Wow, the Feywild really is an amazing place. Tonight, you will join us as we delve further into the Feywild itself. We were going to have a catch up from young Master Theo, but today it will just be me and he's doing it next week. So I'm just going to. I could retell what happened previously, but I recently have been re-listening to Matt Coville's Running the Game, which is his series on DMing, which is good, amazingly good. And I restarted it. I'm going through it again because it had been so many years since I listened to it. And one of the ones was about specifically. Doing a catch-up, and it's what gave us the sort of idea to begin with for doing other catch-ups. So you do your own catch-up, which then began to evolve into doing weird inner monologues, which then evolved into us writing catch-ups as an inner monologue for each other's characters. But he pointed out a key point, which was if I do the catch-up as a DM, I am retelling the tale from my perspective, which gives away poignant information. It could potentially skew what you think happened through my lens of what I think happened. And what I think happened is probably quite different because I am aware of all the behind the scenes. So I think I shouldn't do catch-ups in the same way. If I do, I'll do, those weird ones where you get like but master, they have challenged us for the last time and we cannot fight, things that you would never see but are fun to see, like we have done. So we're going to do a round table catch-up where we're going to go through everyone and sort of jump to different sections and remind us collectively. So it's going to start the person beneath me on the screen, Mr. Rufus Suncrest. What happened at the beginning of last session, if you can remember such a thing?
Yum yum. At the beginning of the session was 3/4 of the session of just rehashing what everyone did in their downtime.
That is right. Do you remember what was first done? What did people do? Brief overview of your time in Ngmiri? Or maybe you just tell me what you did.
Not very well.
That's actually probably a better way. What did you do? A brief overview.
Rufus, what did he do? Rufus went and spoke to Kunda. He got some things sorted out, gave him the pistol to go get reworked. Mm-hmm. And then he mostly went to using Zook's services, teleported through the tree, accompanied by Wayora and Celeste. No, Celeste didn't go. Just Wayora and Brother Draug, Dylan. to visit the Church of the High Hunt, much to the dismay of Hammond upon arrival. And we basically spoke to Talura just to see how she was doing, and then made my way back to Miri.
Very good. Dutch, what did you get up to?
I went back to Xanthar and got a really cool hand tattoo of a lady vampire skull.
Very good. Dylan, how about you?
So, Brother Draug, upon initially returning back to Angmiri, I believe, met up with Kunda initially, and he received some explosive-tipped arrows, which he'd commissioned previously for Kunda to make. And then he inquired about potentially some kind of shield which would allow him to activate, so it would kind of... So if he was using his bow, for example, but then he was in close quarters and he wanted to use his rapier, it would like expand out from his forearm at a quick action. And then probably the most important thing that he did was he went to the church with the aid of his good friend Zook. And Ruthus came along with him, and they checked in with Waora's daughter. And he checked in with Father Aureus, and they had a conversation about the mural below the Church of the High Hunt. And Aureus informed him that it wasn't quite time to fulfill whatever prophetic imagery predicted upon the wall. And of course, he met with his thought to be lost friend, Morans, which was a very emotional re-meeting with. So obviously the DM informed us that we'd missed out on meeting him earlier in the campaign. And I think for the rest of the downtime, he just was recuperating after the trials and tribulations of Xanthar. Some
minor strings tied up, at least. There's thousands and thousands in this campaign. Richter, what did you get up to in your week's downtime? We're doing a catch-up.
Well, in my week's downtime, I went to... We covered this last week, didn't we? We're just doing catch-up.
We're just catching up. Yeah, we're doing catch-up.
Yeah. I went to go and see... Waylon to give him his dead bitch-ass brothers... Well, not dead bitch-ass brother, his alive bitch-ass brothers notebook, which he confirmed was, in fact, hidden notes. And it was, in fact, detailed... dossiers on each of us, which I kind of in my head likened to the burn book from Mean Girls. So I figure that we're going, and there were like detailed illustrations of all of us. So I figure we're gonna maybe frame those and put them around the headquarters. As well as that, there was so I hung out with Silas a little. Promised to potentially visit her homeland one day. There was also damn, I'm really sorry. I've just gotten in. I think that was. I didn't get up to a huge deal. I didn't get up to a huge amount of stuff.
You had a cool dream.
I had a very cool dream that I returned to the library, where the usual events were different this time because there was actually sustained damage to the location. However, there was a sense that though the library may be in tatters, my servitude to the Seeker is not over. There is still a sense that she is out there, and even if they've taken her somewhere, she's not any more taken away than she was before when she was bound up with astral chains. Yeah, I think that was most of my shiz, I think.
And Zook.
So, Zook began the week by, I like to think, asking Richter to kind of sketch out a commissioned set of robes for his new. He wanted a new look to really embody his position as Archdruid Bear. So he set about ordering that at the tailor's. He spent the rest of most of his week working very diligently with Rinnick, the town herbalist, in their shop, brewing potions, which he later dished out to much of the party in exchange for giving Rinnick several of the different plants that he collected from the party's adventures. Towards the end of the week, he invited Thiazi and Belamkanda, the other archdruids of Earth and Water, to come to the Grove to bless the lands around the town. And this culminated in he also spent his evenings at the Grove teaching some of the children of Vermeer and some of their parents as well subtle ways to look into the natural world of druidcraft, etc. This culminated at the end of the week by holding a ceremony that essentially gathered many of the interested parties in the Grove, the Gypsies, many of Elgrin and Fleet, and several friends in a circle, and the ceremony was there to bless the Grove itself and to ordain Zook as the Archdruid of Air. And in doing so, he cleansed the Grove of any corruptions or diseases, if there were any, and planted a new tree of multicolored leaves in the middle of it, cracking the slab, the stone, and thus concluded the. I'm just going to lick some icing.
And thus.
All right.
Did you talk
Maisie has been baking.
talk about your ears returning?
Delicious. Yes, my ears. In the presence of this lightning bolt that planted the seed, there was a thunderous boom, and my ears this, and thus concluded the ceremony. Many friends gathering round to witness this sense of community and strength in these newfound bonds that we developed over the last few years. And after this, people tended to disperse a little, but many remained in the Grove, and we decided that the best place to go moving forward was to find the stones that we knew of. The one that we thought would still need to be found, the one where we knew the location, was the Moonstone, which we knew lay in the realm of the Feywild. Having found a note in the town of Brinchander from Valentine, we discovered that he had taken the Moonstone, unbeknownst to Rethquad, the captain of the guard there, who was furious and had tried to curry favour with the summer court in the Feywild. So, putting the cloak of Fey Seasons on the ground, Zook decided that the best way to get there was to cast a spell, Plane Shift, and the Gypsies of Fortune gathered round, and as he cast the spell, they all ate a leaf and sunk into the ground, swallowed whole, and then pulled dramatically around, as the intended location was not meant to be.
For indeed, you found yourselves cold in a deep, blanketed, snowy forest, big mounds of pillowy snow caked on the pines and the maples and the elms and the ash within this large forest. You discovered, Dylan, that your hybrid form in this perpetual night was forced into being, but more bestial than normal. And not only that, your eyes, the blackness, this curse that had been put on you ever since you took the Nightstone, has faded away, like sort of a a frosted piece of metal slowly melting. You're not sure if it is permanent or if it is just temporary. You met with Ook, the Ook himself in his natural form, a giant owl at the moment, who guided you slightly at the beginning and then has yet to be seen. You saw that there were these blackened trees, radiating heat, almost cracked with sort of red fire beneath, emanating this heat from them and melting the snow around. An entire contrast to the kind of icy stillness all around you. And you followed these charred trees towards a hollow. A large fallen tree atop a mound has left this hole in the ground where you found bones and pieces of animal picked clean and broken into small pieces. You heard a howling, an agonizing, bestial howl from within this burrow. And you tried to tempt it out in some way and communicate with it. But eventually, your curiosity got the better of you and you scrambled down through this dark earthen hole, seeing strange visions and fears along your way in that darkness until you came out into the underground burrow, where you saw a creature hunched over a small fire built into the wall. A creature that you began to recognize, a changed Valentine, your old companion of the Feywild. And James did us a beautiful description of Valentine. I don't know if it's worth. Do people need a refresher of what Valentine looks like at the moment, or do people remember that in their heads?
Sure.
He's a mess.
He's a mess.
He's a sweaty mess.
I remember you describing
Themselves
him
out.
insect-like, in his movements, his jaw clenching and unclenching.
Yeah, you find him kind of, his hair is, his kind of grey hair, which normally is kind of very silken and very kind of freshly cut, is long and matted, kind of draping over his shoulders. His clothes kind of appear like the tattered wings of an old moth kind of draped over his back, kind of caked in mud. And yes, his movements, perhaps it's the kind of the veil of the Feywild, kind of exaggerating the sharp angles of his shoulders and his elbows and knees. But his movements seem very insect-like and twitchy but deliberate, almost like the steps of a spider moving across the spider web. It's very unsettling.
He plucked the legs off of this black stag beetle, kind of muttering to himself. And then you all, eventually congregating in this small hollow, were faced with who you realised, or at least Zook began to realise, was indeed Valentine. Rufus, striding forwards, "Haha, you jest, Valentine," gave him a bit of a nudge in the shoulder. However, Valentine... Fuck! However, Valentine began to scrabble and claw at quite feebly and pathetically at Rufus before Zook was able to speak some words of truth and memory and show a small illusion of Valentine in the material realm and the things that he might remember. Things like the Moonstone and pretending to be
The captain of the guard. in
Captain
the
of the
fight
Guard,
in the
Mogak.
Oh,
And clarity began to sort of wash over Valentine's face. And that is where we pick up today's session.
Rufus is going to roll an insight check because he doesn't know if this is real or not.
Like
This act.
So are you trying to deduce if it is indeed a lie? The visage, the persona.
The whole act. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, ever trustworthy Valentine. It's probably worth it.
What's insight? What's whiz? -3. 11.
On 11. James, you can roll me a persuasion or deception, but you don't tell us.
Okay. I shall roll that.
And you can just tell me whether it succeeds or fails.
Okay.
Turning to the others, Rufus is saying, "Come now, you don't believe this. We all know Valentine. We've met him before. He jests, surely."
I don't know, Rufus. Something seems different somehow.
No, I
It's
won't
changed.
be tricked again.
This is a jest.
The
Awkward.
the fey boy who cries wolf is what I say.
Can I give him a sniff to see if he smells ill? Like, is it real dirt or fake dirt?
Sure. Make me a nature knowledge check.
Okay, so int. A 16.
He smells bestial.
shit.
He smells the smells that you're getting of sort of the natural dirt on him, but also the kind of oil in his hair. It all smells very much real. There is, however, under that a overwhelming smell of sort of old perfume, as if someone has sprayed too much perfume on themselves in a shop and then gone round and put like multiple perfumes on. It's overwhelming to your nostrils, to the point where as you take a big huff with your nose, your eyes do begin to water a little.
Is this the same smell that I was tracking outside?
Correct.
Have
It doesn't smell good.
Does Zook have any memories of Valentine being like this before reaching this state?
Probably not. What do you think, James?
I would say you have kind of faded memories, dreamlike memories of Valentine throwing tantrums, getting flustered and peeved over petty things. This, however, seems to be a very long, to you, you haven't seen him like this. It seems much more intense, much more primal. Like there's a real rage here that you've not seen from him.
Friends, my experience of the
did
Fae
you?
is... Oh, go ahead.
No, so I was just going to say, did you succeed on your persuasion or deception, James?
Oh, I don't know if I should send that in private or...
You can just say.
Okay.
You can say whether he believes you or not. I mean, Josh and Rufus are suspicious, so they'll always be suspicious. You shouldn't let an insight roll necessarily change that. But
Yeah.
I am did you beat his roll essentially?
No.
So you can reveal as much as
You-
as you would know.
Kind of looking at Valentine, you see, although now he's kind of gathered his senses somewhat with the help of these kind of petty illusions from Zook,
Shade.
you these well pulled off illusions. You saw that there was something very animalistic about him. There was no recognition in his eyes when he turned to see you for the first time. He was almost completely blinded by this anger within him. Or it could just be time. He hasn't seen you in a while, and perhaps it took some time for him to see you, to kind of recognize you. But you don't sense any deception. Like it looks like he's not really in the mindset for deception at the moment.
Friends, my experience of the Fae is limited compared to some of you. Or, well, if I have been here before, it was as a human, so I may not remember it. However, I understand this is a changeable place, perhaps an emotive place. Would Valentine's current state be a result of the environment, or the environment a result of Valentine?
Well, from my memories, and they are hazy, but there are different places in the Feywild, and we can walk the seasons as we would different kingdoms back in the material plane. It looks like we're in the Winter Kingdom, and we could, I think this is correct, we could stroll for a number of hours or days, and eventually it would get warmer. What I do know is that the Winter Court, the institution that holds sway over these lands, is a much more negative, aggressive one. There's more ill intent, and it could be that this land, that this area, is affecting his judgment.
What about
his
the
well-being.
effect of the Moonstone? Could that not have an influence over his mind and his body?
Is he wearing anything different that looks like the Moonstone? That could be like a ring or an item?
It looks pretty much like he's wearing most of what he had before. Just very tattered, very grubby. Doesn't look like he's changed his clothes in a long time. There's odd bits of jewelry that he would have worn, but there's nothing. He has like a lute kind of to one side in the corner, covered in mud, but there's no other real objects about him that you can see that would kind of shout Moonstone.
Aidan, you're just a little bit quiet, by the way, so you might want to move that closer. Only a tiny bit quiet. Oh, can't hear you at all now.
Valentine.
Oh no, it's back. Yeah, it's better.
Okay.
Valentine, do you remember us?
Zeke.
Not
Zeke, my friend. What are you doing here?
who. You invited us in a way. You sent
Did
us
I?
that note. Yes, you took the Moonstone from Brinshander
Moonstone.
on the material plane.
Oh, that
Do you remember?
you see him kind of just like tense up at the mention of the Moonstone. That witch.
Oh, it's okay. A minor illusion. A picture of Zook and Valentine like hanging upside down in a tree in the Feywild, like throwing acorns at the passing like Fey like animal or some creature, like just irritating it just for shits and giggles.
Rufus puts a
It's
hand
okay,
onto
it's okay,
Valentine's
remember.
shoulder. Easy, Valentine. We're here to help you, I think.
Yes,
you
I
said
remember
witch.
you now. Yes, a witch. It is a long story of how I've come to be as you see me now. But I must apologize. I'm quite out of shape, and you see him kind of call up some magic to kind of try and smooth over his hair and appearance. I'd quite forgotten about all of you, except you, Zeke. I could never forget about you.
Well, you have forgotten my name. It's Zook, not Zeke.
Of course it is. Yes.
I'm sure you knew all along. What can we do to help, Valentine?
Help. Yes, I suppose you could help. Yes. Well. First, you must know what has happened since I last saw you. I indeed claimed the Moonstone for my own. I took it. It was just sitting there, and I just thought, that seems easy enough to take, and I thought of you guys. I thought of the heroic adventures you've all been on, the Gypsies of Fortune, and I thought, all those heroes have a thing, a magic sword or a bow or something, and when I saw that moonstone, I knew that was going to be my thing. So I went in and I took it, and no one seemed to mind. I was invisible, of course, but and then some very strange things happened once I grabbed hold of it, but never mind about that. Well, it's best I sing you the song of the quest that I've been on. My lament, if you will.
Oh.
A winter witch with hair of white rules o'er this realm of perpetual night. Through fair was she, her heart was cold. So goes this tragic tale of old. As old as oak, as hard as stone, the witch would make this land her own, and all would wither in wind and snow, till shadows rain and warmth did go. He begins kind of playing his lute. He kind of grabs it, wiping the mud off it as he plucks the strings. And so I chose to end the winter, and so I chose to steal the moon, and so I chose to face the witches. But in the end, my quest was doomed. But in the end, my quest was doomed. I wander now through frigid winter, cursed to wander far from home, cursed with pain and icy anguish, cursed to shed these tears alone, cursed to shed these tears alone. And you see, he plucks the final string on his lute, the notes kind of reverberating in the shallow cave of the burrow in which you're in. And every kind of note kind of drips with this sort of sadness emanating from him.
Meta clap. Just a meta clap there.
Meta clap.
You can have an inspiration, Tice James.
Nice.
You can have 3. I overrule Tashi. Have 8.
First time someone's written a song in our campaign, I think.
That was amazing.
Distinct lack of bards.
That touched a part of me I didn't think possible.
I just wanted to be heroes like you. I thought I could put an end to this wintry wasteland and liberate the people here. But I failed. I wasn't as strong as I hoped I'd be.
None of us are strong individually, Valentine. It's our collective might, if you will.
Yeah, like Richter, he's shit.
Well, sometimes it's the friends we make along the way would have been another thing to say, but sure, yes.
A little too
harsh,
kind
but
with these words.
The point is, Valentine, that we only achieved those things because we were doing them together. I admire your bravery, but you could always have asked for help, whatever it is you were trying to achieve.
Yeah, when you do it by yourself, you get thrown off a tower 3 times.
Yeah. And then sometimes a demon squishes you dead.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like the sound of that.
Basically, together, good and strong. It's like if you build a house and you remove the foundation bricks, it all goes to shit.
I see. Kind of like a rainstorm. Every drop makes the storm, and the more rain there is, the more destructive and devastating the storm becomes. I see that
Sometimes
now.
the rain's acid and fire and bricks.
That must be something that happens outside the Feywild.
We've gone to a strange place with this metaphor.
Valentine, when you say you were seeking to overthrow this land of winter, do you mean you meant to end this season? Is this not the natural state of this place?
It wasn't always like this. I remember many, many years ago when this land was a place of spring, of warmth, of comfort. It would shift in and out of seasons for sure, but the winters were mild. The snows landed softly like gentle blankets. But this winter, it is harsh. It is perpetual. There is nothing comforting about the snow here. There is only cold and death and ice and shadow. And the witch who rules over these lands has, well, she's enslaved the people. They live in cold bitterness. And I couldn't stand by it. I had to do something. So when I found the moonstone, I thought, well, this is it. This is my moment. And I went to her court. And I wasn't able to best her. And worst yet, she took the stone from me.
Oh, fuck.
You've jumped forward a bit in your story there, Valentine. Previously, when you said you took or touched the stone, you said, don't worry about that. But several of us have touched the stones. Who did you meet when you touched the stone?
Wait, there's more than one?
Oh, yes. Several.
At this point, can I just see, is Valentine intrigued by this because he's like, ooh, I could get another one?
Roll an
make an
insight
insight
check.
It's a 15.
I would say, yeah, you look at him and there's a little sparkle in his eye.
Listen, Valentine, don't get your hopes up too much. We've come to help you, but don't think you're taking anything more of us. Okay? This is an
no.
inconvenience, this trip. I'm your friend, and I wish to help. But we are going out of our way, and please don't make our job harder than it has to be.
Oh, no, I wouldn't dream of it. It's fantastic that you're here to jump into the fight and battle my enemies for me. I think that's wonderful.
With you.
With, yes.
Yes,
with.
of course.
However, sorry, Neil.
Sorry, Zook. It might have just been a slip of the tongue, but in your wonderfully written song, you mentioned potentially multiple witches, or is it just the one? Forgive me if I'm mistaken.
The witch, she has many followers in her court. A profane mockery of the summer court, if I might add. I did what research I could on her, and I asked around the various locals, but some of them had whispered of a coven of witches that she works with, a family, if you will, though they all, no doubt, are pawns to her wicked game.
Rufus? That sounds awfully familiar.
Rufus is sort of staring off into the distance, thinking about the encounter that he had with the 3 witch sisters that brought him to the Fae and the deal that he struck with them. Yes, awfully familiar. And by the sounds of it, it makes sense. I didn't know who they were at first. Thought them mere witches of the material world, but sounds more like they are followers of the Queen of Winter.
You've met them?
I've met 3 of them, if that's who you mean. How many are there?
I don't know. They didn't reveal themselves to me. I only got as far as the Witch Queen herself.
What does she look like, this witch queen?
Oh, she is ancient and terrible. Though she glamours herself with her beauty, and she speaks as sweetly as sweet nectar, there is a rotten foulness to her. Her heart is icy cold, Her hair is long and white like the snow itself, and everything she touches withers and turns to ice. Do not be fooled if you meet her. She may seem pleasant, but there is a darkness within her that the likes I have never witnessed before.
Does she have a purpose, a goal here? Why maintain control of the winter this way?
Why else? Power. Such people, when they wield such wicked magic, they will exact it on anyone who are unable to resist. I had hoped that I could liberate these poor folk, but she is very ancient and very strong.
And correct me if I'm wrong, I'm woefully ignorant of the Fae.
Oh, that's all right. I knew that.
Yes. She has usurped the Summer Court, or is this a different area of the Fae?
She has been trying to expand her kingdom into the Summer Realm for many years, but the Summer Queen has, in her serenity, held back against such forces of evil.
And they were reluctant to help you for any particular reason?
Well, I suppose there was a small part of my quest that hoped that in doing this small selfless act, I could be granted access back into the Summer Court once again. I was cast out many years ago for some transgression.
Is this something we should know of, Valentine, before we go any further?
That's much too personal information to share at this point.
Well, if we're going to help you, then we may...
I mean, like, how bad was it? Was it like getting drunk and pissing in a fountain, or did you like try and decapitate a member of the royal family?
I find this interrogation very uncomfortable.
I'd like to do an insight check.
Sure. Roll me an insight check.
14.
Maybe I should just know your passive persuasion and passive deception, James, and then that way I can just describe it.
Okay.
Well, don't say out loud. Message me.
Okay.
Because then we can keep the unknown. I think it's much more fun.
Okay.
So if the
okay,
Queen
right,
of Winter...
That's your bonus, right? That's the bonus.
I will say, like, this is a particular... You've just kind of caught Valentine, essentially, just after a very vulnerable moment, so maybe he's not on top form.
Well, this is passive. It's not even you actively rolling, so it's always going to be less. You analyze him, Dutch, and he clearly doesn't want to share this information, and it does seem private. Maybe it's embarrassing.
Perhaps I'll share with it you at another point, but I'm still just collecting myself at the moment.
We don't need to know the details, but if we're going to help you, is it going to impact us in any way?
No.
That's good enough for me.
I mean, to be fair, it sounds like 3 evil witches have taken over and they probably just need to be dealt with.
Yes, that's exactly it.
I must interject, my friends. I appreciate your reticence, Valentine. This is clearly a personal matter, but a friend of sorts who has a history of tricking us has just commissioned us to, it sounds like, usurp a sovereign queen. We have no more information than this, and we seem to be jumping in head first.
Yeah, but
No, Richter, I don't get me wrong. I am taking Valentine at face value, but I would definitely suggest we do our own research before we do anything else.
Understood. I mean no disrespect, Valentine, please. I hope you understand, but
oh no,
it's
he's
quite
a fucking
the ask.
liar, but
Okay,
I mean,
right, we're on the same page. All right, good.
I respect your need to disrespect me.
Good.
Is that
Well,
correct? Yes.
The man thought he could take the Moonstone and then single-handedly overthrow. Well, I have no context for it, but I assume they're an extremely powerful organization.
Raises some questions.
It does.
Yes.
we need to be cautious of some lapses in judgment that you have had in the past, Valentine. But looking at the situation now, it seems like this queen has the Moonstone. That's what we need. We
Well,
need to go
yes.
and see what's what.
Arethusa is kind of like rubbing his forehead. This is all getting very convoluted. Let's go back to the beginning. Valentine, why are you in this hole, and why are we here?
I've told you already. I came here so that I could liberate this land from that foul witch queen, so that I could get back to the summer court. Those
Okay, so
ears
you
on the side
failed.
of your head have no purpose.
You're in a
They very
tree.
much do, and you're not
Why?
answering our questions. After you failed to overthrow the Winter Queen, something happened in between then and now you're in a hole in the ground,
And
eating
there's a
bugs.
few hundred crushed skulls outside as well, picked clean.
I had to eat something.
Okay.
And as for my current accommodations, the queen in question, she left her mark upon me. I have been cursed. So much so that I cannot even return back to the warm grasses of the summer court. I'm trapped here in the very realm which I sought to liberate.
Funny you should say that, Valentine. Those scorched trees outside are surprisingly warm. How did that come about?
Oh, a simple trick. I guess I got carried away in my tantrum. Valentine kind of does a quick gesture, a wave of his hand, and the kind of oppressive gloom in the burrow kind of lifts almost instantly. It's still a tip. It's still muddy and
Yeah, but it's like a Miyazaki tip now. It's kooky.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Perhaps with your permission, we could inspect your curse a little more closely. We've had a few dealings with that like in recent time.
I see. Well,
You seem to trust Zook more than anyone, and he's the most able in that regard.
oh, I trust Zook a little.
Well, if I can remove it, at the very least, it might lighten your mood a little. Would you allow me to try?
It would lighten my burden for sure.
Do you mind
see
coming outside?
Valentine just kind of nods. You kind of see him kind of soften slightly. His posture kind of slacks down a little bit, and perhaps it's just the lifting of the illusion, but he doesn't look as kind of feral now, just kind of tragic and grimy.
Can Dylan differentiate in the smell difference between, like, say, just the standard kind of fey aspect and some sort of fiendish curse tattoo?
You can make me a perception check. I think. You can make me a perception check.
Okay. That will be a 29.
Sniffing at him, your nostrils are overwhelmed with this like perfumed scent coming off him, which is very difficult to then navigate around. And you're trying to smell for something that like essentially isn't him, but all you can smell is this overwhelming fey. It's just fey and a lot of fey.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he was doing this sort of passively, or at least not noticeably. So
Yeah,
he's not just walking over to you and just having a half of Valentine's
even from
Day.
where you're standing, your nose is so keen, but it's overwhelmed by this smell. You can definitely smell Fae. Every part of you is aware of this Fae, but you don't smell anything else. No. In fact, with that high perception roll, you do smell what smells like musty fur from outside of the hole. Like smells like animal.
I would probably start leading Valentine
Yeah.
Zook,
outside.
before you...
I'm following Zook.
Zook,
Yeah.
something's outside.
Oh,
I can smell it. It's different. It's not Fae in nature, or it might be, but it's musky.
do you want to go
Fur.
take a look?
How far down did we come when we crawled down the hole? Would we say?
You know what? That is very difficult to tell, because as you crawled down, you had all these weird fears and visions, and you sort of almost lost yourself slightly in coming down here. In fact, who came down first?
Was it Dylan?
Can you
Yes.
roll me a D3, please? Roll me a D6, and then like we would in Warhammer.
A 1.
A 1. Very good. Thank you very much. Carry on.
Would it be worth me carving out an alternative route with pass wall if we suspect there may be an ambush, or should we just try it?
Well,
Well, we have a source of information about what might be in the surrounding woods. Valentine,
Yes.
are there
Well-
other creatures that hunt these woods? Ones that might be able to harm us?
Do I need to do a history check or nature check to do
do a
that?
You've eaten half
Yeah,
of
you
them.
can do a nature knowledge check.
Okay. I mean, these woods are kind of slightly unfamiliar to me.
I mean, Zook saw big old spiders, didn't he?
That's a 12.
I did, but they didn't have fur on.
There, other than the more sort of classic material realm, mouses, badgers, other small mammals.
Critters.
You would know that there are predators in these woods. You haven't seen, but you've heard tale of great beasts with feathers and claws, a large beak and sort of owl-like face that stands on all fours and moves with the grace of a bear. You also know that there are airborne, almost like icy type birds or like small creatures that fly about above the roof, not the rooftops, the treetops, which you suspect are eyes and ears of the Winter Queen herself, almost like crystalline imps.
Does Dylan have connection to Ook at this point?
No, you don't have connection to Ook. You have a sense of his presence, and you know he's here, but you can't locate him. It seems to you like in the Fae, he is his own being, and you don't have that kind of control like you would in the material realm.
No.
So warging seems to be an issue.
A suspicion grasps Rufus, and he looks towards Valentine. Valentine, can you tell us of the curse that's been put upon you?
Why must I repeat myself with you in particular? I cannot leave these lands. I am trapped here as long as the ice is still and the snow is undisturbed. I'm a prisoner.
So nothing more. Is that right? No kind of lycanthropy or something like that.
Don't be absurd. I wouldn't be as foolish to get bitten by some werewolf.
Dylan chuckles at this comment.
Dylan, perhaps it's best that you go up quietly and take a look. And in the meantime, I can see if I can do something about this curse.
Sure. I'll take a look. How quickly could you think you can join me?
It will only take but a matter of seconds if I can figure out what sort of curse it is.
All right.
I could come up behind and stay in the hole until you give a signal, if you wish.
Do not worry, I'll be fine.
All right.
You stay here. I'll try and let you know if there's anything we should be concerned about.
Be wary they are not servants of the Queen. She has eyes everywhere.
Well, I'm sure they won't be able to see me.
Oh.
It's a bit of a speciality.
Oh.
I may not be able to sing a pretty song like you, but, got my own things going for me.
Indeed. This I have to see.
I'll just slink off. I mean, I'm not turning myself invisible for this.
Make a
Valentine cranes his neck until he can't see you anymore.
make a stealth.
Yeah. Okay, sure. Oh. That is a 34.
You begin crawling back up and out of this burrow, and you find it only to be maybe 15 feet. It just curves a corner, and immediately you can see the light of the moon kind of flooding in once more. You crawl up, it's tight, and you know that if you leave this hole, whatever's out there will see you. But
of course, yeah.
You're able to look over just the lip of the edge. Roll me a perception check.
Sure. That will be 21.
You see a couple of shapes out in the moonlight, sort of black and white striped small mammals that you recognize as badgers. It looks to be, or at least from smell, a few, maybe 3 or 4. And you can see one of them poking over maybe 15 feet away from the hole, looking over a small snowdrift. Its sort of nose sniffing the air and its eyes looking. You can only see the top of its head. It looks to be watching the hole.
Okay, I'll start shimmying back down the hole to report.
Whilst Dylan's up out there doing that, can I pull up Valentine's lip and look at his teeth and try and look at his eyes and discern what sort of curse from what he's told us this might be?
You can make me a.
Valentine's okay with this.
You can make
He doesn't
me
resist.
a Arcana check or medicine, but medicine will give you different results.
I'll do an Arcana because I think that's probably what we're looking for. It's a 16.
You pull his gums back, clean teeth. His eyes are slightly bloodshot. He looks in a ragged state, but you can't sense any marking. You can't see any physical presence of a curse. You're unsure. Curses are mysterious, and not only that, but you imagine in the Feywild, probably even more so.
Zook goes, well, I don't know what it is, but I can still try and extract it. Are you happy for me to do so?
Yes. Try anything.
Okay, Zook.
My
Zook
hand
gets
is on
some,
my halberd right now.
Zook gets some crushed. He gets some hazelnuts out of his bag, and he gets them in a little pestle of mortar, and he starts crushing them up, and he sprinkles in the silver, the powdered silver, and he mixes it in, and he spits on his thumb, and he mixes it into a paste, and then he starts making markings all over Valentine's, down from his forehead down to his chin, and then along his arms, and then he casts Greater Restoration as the markings glow, and he kind of draws out this light all through Valentine's body. I'm going to try and cast Greater Restoration, which can end one curse affecting a target.
Very nice. You begin casting this across Valentine, and as you do, I would like Valentine, you can make me a wisdom saving throw.
Ooh. That's a 9.
The light
You
begins
see, he's
to
like
flicker.
trying to, yeah.
Yeah, you're like trying your best. You're like pushing it out of your mind as best you can, and you see that the light begin to flicker. Ice begins to spread out from Valentine's feet all around, flooding out in a sudden sort of flurry and crystallizing up the walls until they stop and freeze in place. Valentine, you do take a little bit of cold damage. You take not a little bit, that's a 5 and a 6 on 2d6, 11 points of cold damage as the ice kind of crystallizes up your legs.
I still feel her cold influence inside my heart.
Nay, she holds fast still.
Rufus, you standing maybe a ways back, notice the ice that's crystallized up and around the wall of the burrow is in Sylvan.
Ooh. What does it say?
Which you can read. It says, "Repent, and I will forgive," in a sort of loop all the way round.
You can read this too, right, Valentine?
I can. She has her own sick, twisted idea of justice.
Repent for what? For shaming her? For trying to go against her, I'm guessing.
For trying to usurp her, yes.
Well, I think we've done all we can in this hole for now. We better leave this place. Where do you suggest we go, Valentine?
Well, I suggest we go straight to her throne room, maybe behind her throne, and put a dagger between her ribs.
Rufus chuckles. She is no kobold leader. It's going to take something more than that.
Good memory.
I was about to say, I think we've been here before.
Has Dylan made it back down yet?
Yeah.
So a bit of a weird one. There's a family of badgers watching the burrow.
Badgers.
Blow them up then.
Are they like fey badgers? Like big and tough, or just badgers?
I mean, they looked and smelt like normal badgers to me.
Badgers.
But this is the
Agents
Fae.
of the Queen.
I think so.
Well,
We should dispense with them.
let's not rush into anything drastic. I mean, they may know something.
I think we need to
Richter.
kill the badgers. Maybe if we can lure them over here, we can just stamp on them and save using up all the spells.
Yes.
Wait.
to talk
Better
to
if
them
we are unseen
Yes.
altogether. Richter, do you remember when we escaped from the Tower of Questions?
Yes,
Do you still have that same ability?
I do. However, it was a very dark passage down here. I'm uncertain of the distance we've traveled.
It's okay. It's about 15 feet. I think it was playing tricks on us.
Understood.
If we can create another entrance for us to leave out of, then perhaps we can leave unseen.
Okay.
How
Wait, yeah, how did you actually get out of there?
Did we not tell you?
No.
Dutch, you were pissed. They did relay it to us.
Ah,
We drank
no.
about 2 bottles of Death's Head mead, and I saw you chewing something which I wasn't quite sure what it was.
Oh, mushies.
Yeah. We were dribbling afterwards. That's all I know.
I can make us an alternative route to leave, but it would be a question of where you would like it to be. If I, turning away from the hole and looking at the opposite side of the room, if I were to cast it, say, here, at a 45-degree angle, it would likely lead us to the other side. It would be soundless. However, I cannot promise you that there will not be other badgers on the other side of the tree. So there might be a make a break for it situation.
What if the badgers know something? I could go up and speak to them. I could even use magics to persuade them to be our friends.
We could be in the wings waiting to come and back you up if needed.
If I don't like what they're saying, if they are agents of the Witch Queen, we could capture them or, well, fortunately, dispatch them
Yes.
if need be.
You're very
Let
keen
me
to kill
talk
these
then.
badgers, Valentine.
Yes, I've noticed that.
The Feywild is a harsh place. You don't know who you can trust. And badgers may seem cute to you in the material realm, but here,
Nah, badgers are fucking gnarly little buggers if you get on the wrong side of them.
Yeah, they go for your gonads.
oh,
No,
Yeah, we used to watch them in the fighting pits, didn't we, brother?
Yeah, once or twice.
they are
One
amongst
got
the
hold of my
more,
foot. Yeah, but, it was terrible. Don't worry.
they're among the more vicious mammals, I have to say. But I think I can bring them round.
I'm sure you could handle a couple of cuddlies, no?
A fiery mustard.
It would be my pleasure. I'm gonna stop.
In Ignan, I want to say to Zook, I don't trust that this is Valentine. Anyone could disguise themselves with his perfumes. He didn't remember your name. The first thing he wants us to do is go and butcher this queen for him. This is all just a little bit too fast moving, is it not? But that comes out as like...
Zook kind of looks and thinks. He goes, Valentine, when we return to the material plane, what scene, what did the landscape look like? Where had we emerged to? I forget. Could you tell me? When we came back from the Feywild, we met people. Who were they?
oh, I see. In character, I don't actually remember.
I don't know if this would be revealing it, but
I mean, Valentine
if
would
he-
ask
no, would he
as
remember?
best as he can recall. Yeah. Why? Why do you ask?
So he remembers that where we were, basically.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
You would
Okay.
you would remember that you appeared by the lakeside in the midst of a fight with bandits.
I might. Hang on. Let me just. I'm just going to roll a d20 just for myself.
Certainly not.
Yeah,
for
he
initiative,
recalls
but-
like the lake and like the details of location. He doesn't necessarily remember like the names of the places, but he will remember the bandits.
Yeah.
All right.
I look to Richter and just say it back in Ignan. He's good.
All right.
I'll head on up the tunnel and say you might want to get in position just in case.
So, are we all heading up the same tunnel, or do we need a second route to leave faster?
I say, yeah, if we split up, then all of us can get out at once, right?
I could create an illusion to distract them or scare them away.
I think I'll just keep them busy in conversation.
I'll follow up behind Zook and, I won't let anything bad happen to you. I mean, if you want to
Okay.
do the tunnel thing, then that sounds like a good idea too.
All right. So, yeah, from the other side of the room, Richter will put a hand up a 45-degree angle, looking back to make sure he's at the opposite side of the room to the hole, and green glyphs begin to emerge like motes, fireflies from Richter's hands, a few of them touching the wall, then covering it, and then it's almost for a moment like there's just a pure green sheet of wall, and suddenly it just back.
Ooh.
Snow falls in from the end, but you see moonlight cascading in. Zook, you crawl and clamber up the hole. Whatever's waiting, watching, will see you exit the hole because it's a small.
Yeah.
There's like literally nowhere.
So I'm okay with them seeing me, but can I just check left and right the peripheries? Can I have a look if there's any other horrific beasts lurking?
Make me a perception check.
Is Valentine following, by the way? Actually,
yeah,
I think he would want to.
You can go behind Zook if you want.
Yeah.
And then Dylan said he's going to back you guys up. What did you get?
Rufus looks towards.
Go ahead.
Just want to know the perception roll.
I got a 24.
Cool. Okay, carry on. Sorry, Josh.
Rufus looks towards Richter and Dutch and gestures towards them, towards the new entrance. Let's go around the back and engage the pincer maneuver if needs be.
That's you've got to write that down. You got to write that down.
Movement.
Do a pincer maneuver.
The pincer movement of Rufus Suncrose special.
So, there's someone who's meant to be the silver-tongued leader and combat veteran.
Oh, he is.
With the high history and knowledge.
He likes to do
you
checks of knowledge.
History of knowledge, yeah.
Perception is history and knowledge of history of forests. No, of swamps. Zook, you begin crawling out and checking around, your ears twitching. You sense a large shape moving up in the trees, and incredibly difficult to spot. You see a huge fluffy owl sitting in one of the nearby trees, watching down into the glade.
Nice.
It gives a sort of little bit of a ruffle, and you see it just blends in to the snow of the forest, but your keen eye caught it. Something whistles through the air. A 16 to hit you.
To me?
Yes.
Yes, that hits.
Poof! Right in your face, a snowball. It just kind of hits and cascades off. And you see a badger standing on its back legs, jumped out from behind this snowdrift. Little waistcoat around its thing with another snowball, and it says, "You get lost, you hear? You get lost!" And he throws another one at you.
I try and bat it away with my
all right, you've dodged. I'll say you got the dodge action. No, clean in the face this time. Like your nose gets all icy and cold, and there's bits of grit in it.
A yellow one.
I take off. I float out, and I cast animal friendship on him.
He stumbles back. What kind of save is that?
I think it's a whiz save.
Okay. A 15.
No, doesn't.
Oh,
save.
Is it on
So
one
if
creature,
he's a
or
beast,
is it a?
It's a. So I get to cast it once per day without spending a spell slot.
Is it just on one? Is it one target, or is it like an area?
No, it's one target, but I can cast it on more creatures with a higher level spell slot. But I don't know how the feat works because it casts once.
You can't
per
actually
day.
see them anyway.
I'll just cast it on the one that's throwing.
It is a beast. It is a fae.
Yeah.
He stumbles back.
Look.
Oh.
Just let's, before we start the snowball fight, as much as I am keen to do, I want to know that it is not malicious. So, please explain. Why are you so afraid of us?
Because of him. And he points towards Valentine, who is exiting just behind you.
Oh,
because of him.
He look, I know he gets a little upset. That wasn't me, that was Valentine. But if you'll understand, we have come to calm him down. We've had a little talk, the tantrum's over, and there will be no more destruction of your beautiful and precious forest. I can assure you that.
whilst
think
this
we can
conversation's
trust them.
going over, I'd just like to lean over to Valentine and be like, "Did you eat his babies?"
No, they were too quick.
He stands up, kind of, shaking his, rebuttoning his little waistcoat. Right. Do we know each other? Are we friends?
Of course we're friends. Look at us. We're like-minded individuals. I met friends with many different beasts: badgers, rabbits, pigeons.
Forgive
I've
me,
befriended many.
but there's a giant wolf creature behind you, and there's him, it, she, that, points towards Valentine.
And that's a point, of course. But let's face it, I've never seen a badger wear a waistcoat. That would concern me at times. But
Very
You obviously
suspicious.
ain't seen much then, have you? Look, as much as friendly I am with you, I cannot be friends with that. And you can see tears streaming down his face.
Listen,
Oh, grow up.
You grow up. What
Look,
do you do with her? What did you do with Miss Honeydrop?
Valentine's gonna run or like charge up to this badger and kick it hard.
Roll me an attack.
Valentine, no!
Roll me an
I'll sort of
attack.
like, as he goes, I'll like, as I see he's going for the kick, I'll like run and try and like rugby tackle him.
Okay.
To, like try and stop him.
In which case, before you make the attack, Dylan, make me a strength, a contested strength roll. So your athletics versus Valentine's athletics.
Okay, as
I have
from the
advantage
other
in
hole,
that.
we
Let's
see
start walking into
Valentine
this
and
situation.
Dylan charging towards the badgers. Rufus looks towards Richter and Dutch. They're attacking. Let's go.
For initiative.
Quick.
Everybody stop!
So I got a non-natural 20. My
Oh wow, I
athletics.
only got a 14.
He darts and dodges between, and roll me the attack.
Okay. So that is 24.
A 24 hits. What's your strength modifier?
It's probably not much. It's 0.
Right, a minute. Okay, in that case, you just do 1 point of damage. So you hoof this badger, and you see him. He just goes poof and hits a tree, and then slumps down behind the tree. And you hear this, "Oh, Dad, Dad!" And two little badgers with like little nightcaps on go running over to the badger
Quickly,
on the ground.
little ones, get them now!
As we're charging across the snow towards what seems like the battle, Rufus comes to like a halt when he hears them speaking, and like the child calling out "Dad," but seeing that they're badgers, and he's suddenly very confused. And then he looks towards Zook. Are we fighting?
No,
Yes.
we're not fighting. They're
just a
badgers
battle.
wearing waistcoats.
The dad badger,
You monster.
the dad badger gets up. You can see like a bit of blood where he's cut his lip, like bleeding down. And he reaches in his pocket and pulls out what looks to be a small sharpened stake. I will protect my family with my life. You don't take another step.
Dutch, grab Valentine.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab him. Them.
What are you doing, Valentine?
Valentine is just looking very bemused. He doesn't resist Dutch.
Dylan is still like kind of like nodding in appreciation of that impressive kick. Like he's just like, yeah, he's sort of like looking at it like, whoa, okay.
It was a perfect
I've
strike.
seen a badger
Loads
hoof
off.
that far.
Valentine's just gonna like call out like, "We were leaving anyway."
I'm going to float back up the badger and just cast good berries. And just like, I'm so sorry, my friend. I didn't know he was going to do that. Please have one of these. I'll just
Roll
give him
me
a good
an
berry.
animal handling check. I'm gonna say it would be disadvantaged, but you cast animal friendship. Does animal friendship end if they're attacked? Out of interest.
Yes, I would
Okay,
imagine.
then
Most
roll
definitely.
with
pretty fucked up if it didn't.
roll an animal
If you-
handling with disadvantage, please.
Okay. That is. Oh, that's a natural one. Plus 10.
15 to hit.
Me, yes.
Shoot! The stake goes into your ribs. You take 3 points of piercing damage.
Ow!
He lets go of it, stumbling back. And he grabs his 2 little badger kids under his arms and begins running through the forest away.
I'm gonna drop Valentine and chase the badgers.
Why?
Get 'em.
Where are you going, Dutch?
Kill them.
They'll get reinforcements.
The reinforcements? It's a husband. What the fuck are you talking about? Get back
Going
here!
to the Queen. We have to
Dutch,
stop
did,
them.
Dutch, did you not see their tiny little badger family wearing waistcoats?
They have
Yeah,
little
he
hats
fucking
on
shanked Zook.
because
He's fine.
it's fine. On.
I'm going to pursue the badgers, kind of bleeding slightly. Please, no.
Zook,
Don't
it's
go
a lost
anywhere.
cause. I know this is like this is like a dream of yours, like a sort of a wet dream kind of thing. Like I
There's
imagine
nothing
for
sexual about it.
no, not sexual, but like like this is your sort of like fantasy, isn't it? Like I don't know.
I just
As Zook is charging off unawares, can I quickly scan the canopy and make sure there aren't any big, nasty-looking spiders right above him?
Sure. Roll me a
Is that a
perception
perception?
check, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. 18.
Scanning about, doesn't look like any of the spiders about. And interestingly, you notice in all the confusion, there are no burnt trees anymore.
What?
All of the burnt trees, all of the charred ground seems to be gone.
5 minutes back in this one's company, and already we're once again in a land of falsehoods and lies.
Zuko,
Valentine.
are you pursuing?
no, I'm going to just watch them go. I'm going to turn around, float back, look at Valentine, and just say, for all your frivolities, you can be a real, as Dutch would put it, cunt, and just eat the rest of the good berries, float back towards the float back towards the hole.
Seriously, what did you do?
I stayed in their house for a little while.
And then what? What did you do in their house?
Miss Honey something, was it?
Well, I couldn't just sit outside in the snow. It's cold.
So, well, I mean, sure, like that's like stealing. It's not really that bad of an offense. What did they take such offense at?
Exactly. They
What did
kicked
you
up such a
do?
fuss. I
You
didn't
must
do
have done
anything.
something. What else did you do?
How many did you eat to begin with?
I didn't eat any of them. They were
Is
getting
he
close to it.
telling the truth?
Rufus is going to go and pick up some of the bones and the skulls that are outside the hole and bring them over to Zook. Are these badger skulls?
Are they badger skulls?
There is definitely a badger. I described there was a badger skull on your way that Dylan saw on your way in the last session.
Oh my god.
I mean, this is
You're
kind of
real.
a genuine question, like, out of game. I don't know if with talking creatures, is there still, like, hunting in the Feywild?
100%. Yeah. It's,
Oh, really?
It's,
Okay,
It's
okay.
just normal. This is the Feywild.
Yeah, you just
Anything
gotta listen to
goes,
the animal
man.
beg not to die first, yeah.
Look,
Rufus
Like,
sighs.
just because something can talk, suddenly it's off limits.
It's not got
It's
meat
the
on it. Yeah.
Feywild. Come on.
He had a
When I
very
was
big
first-
family.
Tis a silly place.
I want to
When
eat
I was-
something alive. I'm sorry. I'm just
Yeah.
going to say it.
Look, I did all kind of. I ate all kind of fucking wildlife when I was going through, the initial change.
Big change.
Man, I ate way what Bambi, or at least that's what I heard the mother call her.
I'm actually less angry with you eating the creature than kicking it needlessly because of your tantrum.
Oh,
Eating to survive is different. Wounding an animal because you're bored, well, that's something distinctly fairy-like.
Yeah, you don't kick cats, you kick people. That's what my mum used to say.
well, I can understand that.
He did say that.
But
Now,
he
you're
was
gonna-
throwing snowballs at us. And plus, I didn't like his attitude.
look, are you going to take us to this witch queen? Or are we going to stand around kicking small mammals for the rest of the day?
As fun as that sounds, I think we should go. It's
Is
important
there
that
somewhere we can go before? Like, because I feel very uncomfortable going into this blind. I do share Richter's sentiment in that regard. Like, I want to find out. Like, are these people oppressed?
Sounds to me like we just missed our chance, and perhaps we have a wrong to right. If we visit these badgers, perhaps we can reason with them.
I think we might have burnt
Good
that
luck
bridge,
with
Rufus.
that.
I don't think you can unmurder the amount of animals this friend here has murdered.
It was only 12.
12.
You ate 12 badgers.
12 badgers.
Well, some were badgers. A few squirrels.
Oh, that's
A rat
fine.
or two.
Do they talk as well over here? Because
Yes.
Like, do they talk over here? Okay, cool. Like,
no, like they don't talk, do they? In the normal forests.
Back where we're from, yeah, the good old forest.
I
don't know how
probably
to
should
talk
have
to you.
said, I totally forgot to say, but it actually doesn't matter that they were speaking Sylvan. They weren't speaking Common, because that wouldn't make
Okay.
sense.
Oh,
Oh,
so we
okay,
didn't
yeah.
understand. They were
I
just
didn't
squeaking
understand
at us.
anything.
No, but the Sylvan wouldn't have come out like animal talk. It would have sounded like
Oh,
like
dialect.
Sylvan,
Like language.
like a language.
Yeah.
So it would have been obvious they were speaking a language that was you would recognise as Sylvan because you've heard it talk lots of times.
Listen, if Valentine has eaten those children's mother, I don't think there's any progress we can make with them. I say we find someone else to converse with.
Yeah, if Valentine ate, well, my mum's dead, but if she was still alive and Valentine ate my mum, I'd fucking kill him. And I might eat him too.
Yeah,
I
and if
can
I
respect
found out the
that.
person that killed my mum, I might just kill them and eat them too.
Oh, fuck. I stepped into that one, didn't I? Jesus.
Right.
So
You still can if you want. Just putting it out there. I wouldn't blame you.
It's fine.
then where do we go? We just wander? Where's the nearest town, village, if there is one, Valentine?
Well, if you want to find the village, then I guess we'll head this way. He just kind of points kind of half-assedly in a random direction, or seemingly random.
Really?
What's in that direction?
Well, something. It's either nothing or it's the village. 50-50. He just begins walking in that direction.
All right.
Does anyone else know where to go?
I mean, I'd like to sort of like look around and see if I can sense or see Ook.
You can sense him, and you see him sitting up in the boughs of a tree, large and fluffy.
I'd like to sort of make like sort of like a sort of like owlish whistle and see if I can beckon him.
Make me an animal handling check.
Okay. I think that's a 19.
Ooh.
You see him drop from the tree, and his wings
17, sorry.
spread out, and as they do, they fold, whipping round, and landing on the ground in front of you, slinking towards you, is a large snow leopard.
Ooh.
He just
Oh, it's
moves up towards you. He just changed shape.
He's changed into a snow leopard.
Mhm.
Dope.
I sort of get down to a knee and sort of like offer a hand and see if he sort of accepts it.
He does that thing that cats do where they like put a paw up, but it's kind of a little bit. It's not like human-y in your hand. It's like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'll sort of like start giving him a stroke, and then eventually it just becomes like a full-on like scrooch.
Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
loving it. He like rolls about in the snow and is purring loads and is like using big claws, sort of scratching at you.
Ook, can you understand me? I mean, I don't know if you can, but
Ook's head sort of whips round and the ears kind of pay attention.
I mean, I presume he speaks that language that you were speaking, Zook and Ruthus. Might be easier if you communicated with him.
Ook, I say in Sylvan, can you understand me?
The head sort of cocks to the side.
I think he does. Could you show us to the nearest settlement, the nearest place where there are people or things like people?
Ook begins like hissing in a like angrily way and pacing sort of round in circles.
Okay. He doesn't like people, don't he?
We're not welcome there. This says in Sylvan.
He sort of sits back down by, like up against Dylan. Begins licking at one of his paws.
Ook, look, you don't have to come in with us, but do you think you could show us the way for where my friend was asking? This is your home, isn't it? This is where you truly belong.
His ears go up, and you see him kind of look up, and you see something in the moonlight fly a ways off over the trees. You just see something glimmering or crystalline, not heading in your direction, but moving sort of across the tops of the...
What is that?
Are these the eyes that Valentine spoke of? The spies of the Queen?
We need to get under the tree canopy, quick. I'm going to cast Pass Without Trace on all of us.
I imagine like the snowdrift sort of like whips up about you a little bit more.
Everyone's just caked in frost, and we sort of have a whiter appearance.
Ook gets up and begins padding off, sort of out of the clearing in the direction that you, opposite the direction that you entered this initial clearing. Ook looks back, and then with a running jump turns back into the owl, and you see him sort of bank away in the similar direction and out of sight.
Is that the same direction Valentine's going?
Interestingly, yes.
Well,
Valentine is kind of at the edge of the clearing, kind of looking around on the ground.
Well, if I must say I trust Duke a little bit more than Valentine, but he appears to be telling the truth. At least, I hope.
All roads lead that way, then. Shall we go?
Brother, do you want to scout out a bit ahead?
Sure. And Dylan sort of like starts sort of gently jogging through the snow, and then as he takes a bit more speed, lollops on all fours again, and sort of like very much looks like a sort of a wolf moving through the trees. This sort of like his greyish fur sort of blending in with the snow very well.
Noticing that, and impressed by it, Richter uses a small amount of disguise self to just transform the armor he got from, was it Thrognor Redspire? Is that his name? Mm-hmm. He just changes the accents of the colors. So like the sort of bronzy, it goes silver. The sort of green accents go sort of like white, and he just transforms into Richter's winter collection.
Nice.
While we're here.
Yeah. Very stylish.
Thank you.
It complements your Gith banana style skin.
Yes.
Banana man.
What is your marching order then? So it's Dylan first.
I'd like to be close-ish behind, like 30 feet.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be up there so we can spot anything ahead.
Okay. Dylan, Dutch, Zook.
I'll be kind of near the back. I imagine Valentine's like dragging his feet a little bit on this pointless side quest.
And Richter might take up the back and just occasionally use his halberd or a mixture of halberd and mold earth to move the snowdrifts back behind us and try and not make too much of a massive trail.
Okay. So, you begin heading in that direction, whatever that direction may be. The moon is directly above you, so there's no real way of telling what direction is what, nor is there any sign of sunrise or sunset since you've been here. And interestingly, as you walk, I think Ruthus especially, you start to feel strange. You start to not quite know how long you've been here. Going down into the hole underground and coming back out, it's the same time of day. No time has passed, but yet it feels like a lot of time has passed. Ruthus, can you roll me a d3?
A 2.
A 2. Oh. Whoopsie. I got mead on my pen and on my screen.
Do you reckon a bit after 8 we could take a poop break?
Yeah, we can take a quick break. Right. You begin heading through this quiet, serene forest. It is deathly silent. There aren't really even any birds, and any animals that are out must be, I don't know, in hibernation. But from what you know of the Fae, or what Ruthus and Valentine and others have said, that it doesn't change season, or doesn't even change time of day necessarily. You are in the perpetual midnight winter area of wherever this is. There is no north or west or east or south, and that is in itself disorientating. You've been to other dimensions. You've been to quite a few different dimensions, and all of them have a similar feel to them. Maybe all but the Shadowfell. And this does weirdly feel like the Shadowfell in a lot of ways. There's that kind of reflection of the material realm, yet things aren't quite right, rather than it being a totally different place, like the realm of fire where you went. That felt very much like you were somewhere entirely different, whereas this feels like home but wrong. And that doesn't sit quite right with you as you make your way through the forest. The moon seems to grow bigger as you move as well, starting maybe the size of your moon before, now has grown maybe a third of its size, slightly bigger. And it's slightly lighter. It's that cold blue light casting shadows even in the depth of night. You can see up ahead, Zook and Dylan, what looks to be another clearing, a sort of larger clearing. The boughs of what seem to be a great tree bend down over this clearing, similar to High Canopy in a lot of ways. Not nearly as big, but a magnificent tree nonetheless. Red leaves, small, almost buds, coat its upper branches, but it doesn't look healthy. It doesn't look corrupted, but it just doesn't look well. Parts of it look to be dead, dead branches ready to fall off. And all around it are sort of old pieces of branches and things that have fallen off, maybe in the wind that has blown through. The snow that's gathered on some have weighed it down. Dylan, you sort of get to the edge of the clearing, and Dutch and Zook are not too far behind and can kind of see into this. How are you approaching this clearing?
I'd like to stealth, please.
Yeah.
Make me a stealth check.
Stealthily,
Awesome.
definitely stealthily.
I'm going to wait at the edges and just look out for stuff.
I got a natural one.
Okay. Let's have a group stealth check. So
Sure.
everyone that hasn't roll.
We've still got past without trace, don't we?
Correct.
What do we add with that?
10.
Ooh.
So yeah, it's an unnatural
actually-
1, but it goes to a 18.
You mean it's a natural one?
Yeah, natural 1 goes to a 18.
16.
What is my cloak doing at the moment? Is it match the wintry sort of? Is it covered?
It's
No.
like turned into holly, like a holly bush.
Nice.
It's like
Cool.
sort of thorny and like a deep green with sort of like white branches and ice on it.
Nice. Yeah. 29.
I've got a 30.
Ooh.
27.
Wow.
You pass through this clearing
26.
quietly.
36.
But there's a loud snap,
36.
and you all turn, and Dutch is sort of standing there, cracked over one of the branches, the dead ones, maybe under some snow. And you hear a creaking. Snow kind of hits the ground from the tree. And you hear
Look
this
up.
noise. You there. Do you understand me?
Do we all hear that?
You all hear it, but Dutch, you see, looking at this great tree in the center, what looks to be a face, kind of carved or made with the sort of knots and lines of the bark that creaks open slowly. It's almost squinting at you.
I'm sorry I stepped on you.
Oh, never you mind. It's not a part of me anymore. Come closer, so that I may see you properly.
Insight. Is this threatening?
Oh yeah, definitely insight. Definitely want to see the intentions of this damn tree.
Yes, I'm going to lean forward a bit.
I will allow, rather than everyone inciting every single time, you've got to choose who's going to make that insight check.
I mean, it's not one of my main go-tos.
I
It
do
is-
have
I
it
do have it
tagged.
checked.
Yeah.
I can't roll
What's your
that
problem
lower than a
first?
16. That's my thing.
You what? Sorry?
I can't roll lower than a 16.
Yeah, you take it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a 19.
No, there doesn't seem like any malice or ill intent. But only you know that.
My computer's about to run out of battery. One sec.
That's right.
Yeah, I said I was going to lean forward and have a...
Yes, so young you are. So young. But you've seen things, many things. Your markings upon your bark tell a tale, do they not?
Yeah. Stories of victories and defeats.
Stories. May I ask a favor of you?
Yeah, I mean, we're in a bit of a hurry, but why not? What is it?
Well, I have not much time left, you see. I am old. Very old. And all I wish is for someone or a few to tell me a tale. Tell me a tale before I die.
I think, Gypsies, it's time we put on a performance for a tree. I think it's time we regale a tree with the siege of Angmiri. Surely our greatest tale.
Quite a sad one, isn't it? I mean, I wasn't. I wasn't there. So
It's horrific. It's one of the worst things that ever happened.
But
okay.
But it's epic, no?
Was Valentine there? I can't remember. Hazy time for me.
No.
Valentine's just kind of drudgily like following the procession.
Okay, I'm going to tell the tree a story. So, buckle up. This is a story all about how my life got turned upside down.
Would you say this is your
with,
story?
with the correct lyrics
This is
and
my
everything?
story.
I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became a prince of a town called Bel Air. And can I let's just go with it.
So-
And I'm going to tell the story.
This is going to be a skill challenge, which we will do after a short poo break for Aiden.
Yeah. Okay. In a bit.
Quick pre-game.
Have a
Okay.
quick tea. All up a pot, boys.
All right, 5 minutes. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. We'll be back.
Guys, I had 1% left on my
Oh,
Chromebook.
you saved it. You saved it.
Yeah, I thought it was charging because I was using a Mac one, which is USB-C, but it still was still didn't like it.
It likes to be fricky.
It's contrary.
I'm gonna make a tea as well. Actually, that's a great.
Yeah, definitely some sort of refreshment is
A
necessary.
beverage.
Oh, lads, I've been spoilt rotten.
Why?
Emily's got me my favourite root beer.
Oh, nice.
Please sponsor me. And
Thunderbird.
Very good.
Oh, fuck yeah. I just made myself a hot mead.
Oh, snap. Oh, with some of the midwinter mead.
That's right.
That's right.
It's
Very
the
good.
occasion.
It is indeed. I had my glass and I had a little bit left and I fucking knocked it over and spilt it all on my iPad pen and it's all sticky.
No.
No.
Nice.
Luckily, it's like you can't. It like won't break, which is good. I don't think.
Ooh, when this is hot, it smells a bit like a fireplace.
Mm.
It's
Like
so
in a good way.
it's so wood scented, pine and.
Oh, I'm genuinely getting slightly terrified for this fucking. Oh. I'm not saying nothing.
Eat poo.
This performance.
Good,
The tree.
good slide. Minimal wipe. How was it?
Kind
Do I
of,
wanna ask?
a little bit like, fracking.
Oh
little
no,
bit.
that's not what I want to hear.
Kind of like,
I don't know how
Plunging
to
the
make
depths.
fucking shit, but it doesn't sound
You know
good.
when they flood the ground with chemical-filled water to it, and then suck it all back up to extract all of those minerals? Well,
Those natural
that
gases.
was what my poo was like. It's what you just
yeah.
said.
Oh.
mm.
I found the perfect teapot for the day.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
Oh, I
Wow.
forgot.
Awesome.
Maisie loves owls, doesn't she?
Yeah, got my Zook mug
Oh, the Zook mug.
and a delicious jasmine tea.
Oh, we used to have those every fucking time when we sat around the table. Oh yeah. Oh, speaking of
yeah.
which, the 18th looks like a good day. The Friday. Everyone get back. Aiden, check your schedule.
I will
And see.
get back to you on that. I will.
Yeah, for sure. I was thinking. I mean, we can do it at mine, because I've got like sort of good space in the fire. But it'll be way more difficult for you, Aiden, to get here because you'll be working on the Friday, I imagine.
Probably, but let me, give me a couple days to figure out things.
We'll
and,
see. But yeah, if not, I was thinking maybe Josh or Roop, because you're in Hove. Yours might be potentially an easier
Yeah,
for everyone to get to sort of thing.
yeah, we could possibly pay at mine.
We'll make it
Yeah,
work.
same. Just have to, see what happens.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
just see.
I could ask about the workshop.
Yeah, that could be pretty cool. I mean, the only thing about that is then I have to get all the way there and all the way back. So
Oh, yeah,
I'd have
that's
to stay at someone else's house. But I'm fine with that.
Yeah, you can stay at mine.
Yeah, we'll
If we
see.
do it at either of ours, Rupert, I don't think you have enough chairs and I don't have enough chairs, so we could
So
just
we'd have to combine.
yeah.
You can combine chairs. Yeah, we'll see. Anyway, we're all back.
tea.
So,
So this is a
we're in a
story.
skill. We're in a.
It's
It's
yeah.
a telling a story skill challenge. It's up to
Right.
you. What the story is. Dutch has already said the Battle of Angmiri as the tale.
Now, you go ahead.
You would know maybe stuff from it as Richter.
Yes.
But
What
Viv-
Richter can offer
Yes.
is, as Richter was not present for the battle, but he has heard the story many times, sometimes told rather, sadly, sometimes told a little bit gloriously. He's also seen various frescoes, images. There are many murals surrounding Miri commemorating it, so he has images in his mind. Richter's contribution to the challenge will be to use a mixture of Mask of Many Faces and Minor Illusion to play characters who cannot be here for various reasons, such as Kofin, which he finds bizarrely familiar, and Mogak and Frank Griffin.
Yeah, Valentine knows the face of Mogak well. The orc chief that you impersonated atop the battlements, who had died,
yeah.
and everyone thought was a ghost, and Yeah, she died in the Battle of Angmiri, and the Battle of Angmiri is the tale that they are telling, which you were actually technically there for a bit of, because there was a bridge was being attacked by werewolves, and you did some illusion stuff. So you can also participate. In which case, we're going to start it off then with, as Dutch begins to tell this tale, Richter, you step in immediately. What skill are you using for this?
I'm using Mask of Many Faces, which is infinite use disguise self.
But I think your role, I would like a performance.
Persuasion. Okay, no, yeah, performance. That
Yes.
makes more sense. Here we go. That is an 18.
Dutch, you begin to weave this tale, the tale of Angmiri. How do you start it off? You don't have to do it full RP, but where does it begin?
It begins as we stand readying ourselves as the sun sets, ensuring the last bits of fortifications are tied securely and traps are set and ready to be sprung.
I'm Mogak directing people.
Yeah. Moon rising.
Okay.
And as it turns off the horizon from white to a bloody deep red, the play starts to broil and deepen like a good gravy.
Who is going to take the next skill challenge in this?
Time would watch
Rufus will. Can we use the same skill as someone else that's already used?
Yeah,
one?
It's the only thing you can't do is use the same one yourself twice.
Yeah, okay. Rufus will use performance as well because he has that tagged, and he enters stage right in front of the tree and begins regaling the tale of how the gypsies stood atop the bridge that we had booby-trapped with explosives, and using a mixture of druidcraft to create small bursts of flame and prestidigitation to like make sparks and like puffs of smoke as he acts out fighting the Shankar as they storm across the bridge, and regaling that part of the tale.
Roll me the performance check.
And I got a
I'm
22.
a Shankar.
A 22.
Yeah.
Very good. Dutch, you step back in, moving us on to the next section. Who is helming the next part of the tale?
So which part of the story have we got to? Has Frank Griffin arrived?
Not yet. It's the werewolves have flooded in. We've got
the balls have come across the bridge.
You booby trapped the bridge with and sent
skeletons.
Some of Kofin's skeletons.
Suicide zombies.
Suicide skeletons. Yeah.
Suicide skeletons, the best fucking plan in D&D.
Could Valentine contribute, but kind of maybe like while someone else is telling the story?
Yeah,
He's kind of
you can do whatever you want.
I imagine kind of listening to the story and hearing about it, since he wasn't there for the whole battle, he kind of ran away. He is intrigued, and he's going to cast Major Image to kind of create these skeletons rising out of the ground with like a dark mist pooling out from them. He kind of plays his lute in a kind of a fast like jig along with the storytelling. Anyway.
Have you got a?
I don't know if I need to roll something.
If you, it's better to, because the spell. What I rule is that if you can cast a spell instead of doing the skill, but it's more risky because it's basically up to me to decide whether it succeeds or fails. So pairing it with a skill is always more favourable. And especially
maybe he just provides music then and does performance.
No, but you can cast a spell as part of it as well. So,
okay, I'll do both.
So you can do.
Imagine he would.
You've got performance as a tagged skill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can use it.
So that is a 28.
28. Getting the 3 performances out of the way first. Music accompanies the explosions that Rufus is making. As Zook, are you taking us to the next stage?
Yeah. So I guess as Dutch describes the flight through the town and the emergence of Frank Griffin and the emergence of the Blood Moon, Zook is going to cast a minor illusion of the figure of Frank Griffin in his hat, and all you can see is this kind of horrible grin beneath the shadow of his brimmed, wide-brimmed hat. He's going to cast minor illusion, but because that's not concentration, he's also then going to cast a moonbeam. But rather than white light, it's blood red light filtering down, and the ground starts to burn with this red light. And he's also going to use acrobatics, holding cinder in one hand and producing a flame in the other, and just like move around, kind of doing some crazy ass fire flips, like floating around.
Interpretive dance segment of the story.
Nice.
To embellish this. So yeah, I'll try
as
acrobatics.
the flames of the burning buildings begin to soar the embers into the sky.
It's a natural one.
Oh no! As you're casting this, you flip Cinder about. Cinder falls into the snow and immediately begins to hiss. You freak out, grabbing Cinder, casting Moonbeam on Dylan. As Dylan's form immediately is you are forced back out of your lycanthrope form, blind. You begin like thrashing about in the snow, falling out of the moonbeam and turning back. You do take some damage.
You take. Oh god, I rolled really high. 15 points of radiant damage.
Shit.
Oh my god.
Am
And
I vulnerable to it? Oh no, it's
History
radiant,
comes
isn't it?
alive.
no, it's radiant, but the beam itself like forces you out of your form. It forces you to reveal your true self.
So at this point, composing himself just as after the moonbeam hits him, he takes a striking stance with his wide-brimmed hat, using this to his advantage and emulating Frank Griffin to the best of his sort of second-hand knowledge as Brother Draug. And in a sort of acrobatic rolls out of the moonbeam and emulates Frank Griffin becoming a werewolf. And throughout the next montage, he plays Frank Griffin as this wolf, doing this sort of like interpretive dance, acrobatic kind of rolling around and everything. But at the same time, as it goes into the letter part, he plays himself as Dylan, drawing his rapier and doing this whole acrobatic sort of to and fro between this beast and Dylan. And it culminates in this dramatic sort of pose as Dylan is struck down by the bestial Frank Griffin, and he's going to use his acrobatics to sort of do this whole sort of interpretive.
Amazing. I'm
Finale.
going to give you advantage.
Okay.
Purely for turning that natural one into something really cool.
Oh yes, it's good. It's a 34.
Oh.
Even with Zook's fuck up, you manage to kind of pull it back. And as Dutch carries on describing as his brother is struck down in the final sort of culminating battle against Frank Griffin. I imagine a bit earlier we had like Kofin, you all running from the various hordes, and Kofin falling back, fighting with Mogak, etc. And then finally this crescendo as Dylan is slain and the moonbeam fades away. In fact, Dutch, you haven't rolled, so you need to make a check still.
It's like all of that. Like,
I love it.
Telling the horrific story of how our friend, who isn't with us anymore, Kofin, was brutally struck down by this heinous monster. To get across the sense of dread and how powerless we felt during that moment, I'm going to use intimidation to make him piss himself just like we all did.
Go for it.
Pisses tree sap.
I use strength on my intimidation, so that's a 19.
You roar, a mighty roar, a roar of anguish and anger, and the story ends.
Griffin!
I blew out a bit there.
Oh, this is wonderful.
You all take a breath, and you almost hear like hundreds of hands clapping, but it's the boughs of the trees kind of clattering against each other, and not just the tree in the center, but the trees surrounding the glade seem to quiver and move, shaking some of their snow off of them, like an auditorium, a round auditorium, giving you a standing ovation. Thank you. You that calls yourself Dutch, come closer. Lay a hand upon my old bark.
Right.
You hear a sort of like sigh, and the face kind of hardens and doesn't move anymore. And you see the last of the red leaves, or the buds, just fall into the snow.
Oh.
And there's sort of a great exhale all about. A wisp of something circles Dutch for a time, passing sort of between his fingers and around, and then till it floats off towards the moon once more.
Dutch, you feel a small hand on your shoulder.
Hello.
That was spectacular. You made connections that I could only dream of. Well done. You're growing.
Dutch, you have gained the old tree's blessing.
Oh.
While in the Fae, once every long rest, you can cast bark skin on yourself.
Ah.
Oh, shit. I need more paper.
It's worse than his bite.
It is.
You
Well, until we
continue
get
on
Dutch a pair of grills.
through the forest, heading in the same direction that you set out before. Dutch, I'd like you to roll me a d3, please.
2.
A 2. Same marching order as before?
Yeah. Oh, I did want to say that last I almost said feather. I almost said tree feather. I meant leaf.
Feather, yes.
Can I keep it?
Yeah, you can pick up. It's like it's not really a leaf. It's like like an unflowered bud that's red. So if you pried it open, it'd likely be red petals, but it's sort of still enclosed, like it was its last bit of blooming, and then some of them didn't manage to.
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna take it, please.
Cool. You continue on through this snowy landscape. Richter, can you roll me a d10, please?
D10. Do I add anything?
Nope, just a straight d10, please.
2.
A 2. A 2.
Dos.
As you are trekking through the snowy woods, Valentine, you're getting more and more grumpy and incredulous. Your feet are cold. Your boots have been are now wet and soaked. Like, why did you leave that hovel with these material realm folk? The rest of you are kind of pressing on, and you feel, time parting around you, yet nothing seems to be changing at all. Those of you not from this realm, so all but Valentine, feel like you've been walking for a long time, like days, like you haven't slept for days, and you're just continuing to walk, but you don't feel tired. The moon is still up. Maybe it's only been an hour since you arrived in the Fae. Maybe it's been months. You just can't tell. And you hear something. Zook and Dylan hear it first. You can hear music playing. It's not in the direction that you're going. It's off the path, to the right. You can faintly see light emanating, maybe 100 or so feet through the trees. Something glows, and you can hear the faint sound of music. Stringed instruments, maybe a harp, maybe a lute, sort of floating through the woods.
Like
Zook, with
there.
your high passive perception, you can hear clinking and splashing and laughter.
It sounds like a party. This could be someone we could get information about the Ice Queen from. Do you think we should investigate?
Valentine is our resident expert.
I mean, if you feel it will help, I still think we should go straight there.
Yes, Valentine, but that didn't work very well for you last time, did it? So I think information is power in these lands, as it is in most places.
Very well.
Rufus, you've got kind of information. You've done history knowledge checks about the Fae.
I did spend a great deal of time as a youth checking my history knowledge of this place.
What did you learn, Rufus?
What would you like to know?
What did you call him?
Rufus.
Rufus gives a sideways glance at Valentine, like.
He gives him the reverse.
Tell
of
me,
knowing God.
I'd like to learn from the best.
What do you wish to know?
Well, what's this strange music we're hearing?
Can I do a history knowledge check?
Yes, you can. You can history knowledge check your history, your knowledge, your history knowledge of the Feywild.
Of loots.
Of loots.
I would like to think about Rufus. Think about the kind of beings that inhabit the forests of the Winter Realm.
Okay. You can have advantage. It's your specialist subject.
It's a natural 20.
Oh my god.
You have read and read and read on this subject, not only as a youth before you travelled to the Fae, only to bring back a babe with you and have no memories, but you have researched the Fae since. And there were many stories of music and laughter and cheer coming from the woods, and most of them ended badly. Oftentimes it was a tea party in the woods where elves danced and danced and creatures danced and danced. Do you remember one specific story of animals and elves and pixies and creatures of the forest all dancing around this tea party table on a pile of broken sticks? And as they danced and danced, and as the traveller told the tale, they too were sucked up into this dance. And as they danced upon these branches and leaves crunching underfoot, they realized that they were naught but bones of the people who had danced themselves to death, and they had danced and danced and danced. And there are many of these sort of tales. Yet there were also tales of other creatures, fauns, pixies, fairies, dryads that all enjoy music and enjoy the company of others.
Cool. I relay that to the others, and relay it with a warning that we can approach, but perhaps it's best that we cover our ears upon getting closer, for this place can lure a person, lure them to their death, even.
Valentine kind of nods. I'm surprised you know of such things.
Sadly, at this point, only from the tales I've read. I don't remember any of the encounters I had on my previous visit.
You are feeling, I will say, both you and Zook being back in the Feywild, a great sense of deja vu. You keep getting deja vu all the time, like you've been here, or you've walked this route, or you've seen that old tree before. You know, you keep getting weird senses that you've been here.
What if some of us hang back with a bit of rope tied to one of us?
I
Far
could
enough
do one
away.
better. I mean, I could make the vicinity around us completely impenetrable by sound, if that is something we wish to do.
Well, that could work. Yeah, we could at least see who it is. Then.
We just need to know which direction we need to go.
Well, we'll be getting closer, so you could put it in front of the building. So as we get closer, the music will stop.
I think I can, say, for example, I can cast it on a location that moves along with me. So,
Okay.
I mean, I don't know how we'll approach this, but...
Oh, wait. Rufus says, I have an idea. Allow me to cast... well, as he says this, he uses a bonus action to summon an avatar. And then he takes a knee and walks into the avatar's body. And I can basically walk through it and move through the avatar, looking through its eyes, but it's immune to all effects, so it can't be charmed or anything.
I was going to say,
Wow.
did you change the day during the week?
No,
You didn't want to?
I didn't.
Okay. How far away can the avatar go?
1,000 feet.
Oh. You walk in your strange echo. Valentine, you see it. An echo of Rufus appears, but not like a shadow version of himself. It's almost as if you've stared at the sun for too long, and as you look away, you're left with that imprint of light on your retinas. But instead of it, the circular sun, it's the imprint of a gnome, a muscular, armored gnome, that of Rufus. Almost like he glowed, and that was sort of pierced into your eyes. You can look away from it, doesn't move with your vision, but that's what it seems like. And it walks off, faintly glowing, between the trees towards the sound. Rufus, as you approach, you can hear, yes, a harp playing. You hear splashing and clinking of glasses or cutlery or kitchenware or something that sounds tinny, as well as splashing and sort of giggling and laughter. You can hear talking, potentially in Sylvan or something along the lines of. And as you approach...
Can you say that again?
Oh, yes. You can hear like clinking and laughter and the harp noises from before.
Yeah.
And as you move through the trees, you see the light glowing from within a structure, a building nestled in these trees. Marble columns and pillars of a strange ancient design, a good 30 feet high, create what looks to be a bathhouse of some kind. You can't see within, but you can see archways that would then lead within, and you can hear splashing and the noise of people laughing within.
Okay. With the avatar, I'd like to sneak up to one of the archways, not revealing myself if I can, and just sit at the edge and try and listen to whatever's inside.
Roll me a stealth check.
We've still got thingy, right? So
Also
that's a 15 and 18.
You won't have pass without trace unless you're near Zook. It's radial. Or is it only radial when you cast it, Zook? Or is it radial
I think
continuously?
it's continuously.
I'm pretty sure it's 30 feet within him.
Within 30 feet.
What did you get without it?
The duration each. Yeah, it's within 30 feet.
Sorry,
Okay, an 8.
An 8. You crouch low by the side of the building, listening. Are you sneaking in so you can at least see, or are you just sneaking close to listen?
Just to listen at first.
The avatar with you looking through squats there by one of the archways within, light sort of glowing and emanating, but it's just really steamy. Steam is like billowing out, and you can hear a harp playing, you can hear splashing, you can hear laughing of different kinds. You sort of hear a and a like lots of different styled voices laughing on the inside, but no language is spoken. No, there's no talking.
Okay. Rufus is going to attempt to, if it's something malicious, I'm going to pretend to go along with it, like I'm just a weary traveler looking for a nice relaxing bath to have in the woods.
Okay.
And see if anything bad happens. So the avatar's going to get up and just stroll into the steamy room and in Sylvan pronounce, "Ho there, travelers. Is this a steamy welcome for me? May I rest my feet?"
Can it talk? Can you talk through it?
I think so. I don't know. Let me find out.
Double check. I know you can look through its eyes. Do you remember, James, the echo?
Oh, is this
Echo.
like the Echo Warrior?
Yeah.
I don't know actually.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'll make a ruling that you can, because it's cooler.
Oh no.
You proclaim this, stepping sort of through the steam and mist, and you can see your feet become well, you can't feel it as the echo, but you're sort of slightly in water, and before you is a large rectangular pool steaming with heat within this bathhouse. Low lights sort of glow within, and you can see maybe a dozen or so creatures of different kinds sitting, swimming, drinking. A harp floats sort of on the far side of the room, just in the air, plucking with no one there to pluck it, playing a nice tune, a relaxing tune. You see a fawn type character, a Mr. Tumnus style, goat-legged but humanoid, sitting with sort of his legs in the pool with a large goblet of like what looks to be like red wine, and he's just sort of slurping it down and smiling and sort of laughing. You see these small grey-skinned kind of gnomes, but they look even smaller, they interestingly, even in the bath, naked, have their little red caps above their head. There's like these little red hats that they keep on, sort of pointed ears, and kind of grumpy looking, but their faces are smiling, and they're kind of like splashing each other. You see a couple of these little fairies flying about with little wings, very small, like about this big, flitting about with tiny little goblets in their hand, drinking and kind of like swaying about. They're all totally naked, and they're all just splashing about. You see like a dryad, like a bark type creature, sort of just floating with its back, its arms spread out, a bowl of what looks like grapes sort of on its chest. It's just floating about, picking at them and throwing them into its mouth.
Can I tell if they look like they're entranced by the harp, by the music?
Roll me
or are they acting normally?
Roll me an insight check.
A 12.
A 12. The fawn, being probably the most easy to read, you can tell that although as he glugs this wine down and it is refilled by a floating pitcher that begins to float over and refill it, he's smiling and he looks over, sort of cheersing towards you. But you can see there is sort of fear and darkness behind his gaze as he looks at you.
No. I'm gonna walk over towards him with the avatar and just like push him a bit.
You nudge him a bit, and he looks up towards you.
Oh, this is not okay.
You feel a rumbling beneath you, and all of the people suddenly like start clinking their glasses a little bit more. From a ways off, the rest of you, those with good passive perception, see this structure or whatever it is lift up off the ground, roots and soil sort of pouring off the bottom of it, and two great legs beneath this bathhouse push it up onto all fours, and it just crashes off away from you guys, like just through the woods.
I'm gonna smack the glass of wine out of the fawn's hand, grab his arm, and just run with him out.
Can you interact physically with stuff other than attack?
Oh no! Wait, we said because you're immaterial that you fell through the spider's webs back in there.
Yeah, I don't think you can physically interact. He's not even...
I just looked it up, and technically you can't speak, but we'll overlook that. And I guess you are immaterial. Yeah.
Yeah, he cut. Yeah, I'll describe what happens as he attempts to do that. You attempt to grab at the at this fawn, but your hands just sort of pass through him, and the whole thing lifts up and away from you as you just pass through it because you're immaterial. It scrambles, crashing trees and heading away from you, a bit like the armored, a bit like the backpack Titan in Attack on Titan. You know, yeah. But without a face.
Mm-hmm. This Misty Step is only on yourself, right?
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
Damn it. Okay. Yeah. I can't grab him. So yeah, I guess I'll.
You stand there watching as it crashes away through the woods.
I'll dispel the avatar and then come back to consciousness where Rufus was kneeling around the others. And with a gasp, he stands back up and just looks at the others and said, "No, it was a place of evil. So many creatures lured to their nose." And he just explains like what he just saw.
Oh, so the trap has fled us. That's new.
The Feywild has many wicked things in it. tricks of the senses.
Well, it sounds like something we could do without. Onwards?
Indeed.
Are we still following Ook? Can we still see him? in the
No,
treetops?
you can't see him, but you're heading in what you assume is the direction.
We hope.
As you begin to continue to walk, Richter, you notice through the trees what looks to be icy sort of spires, like small monoliths of ice. And as you pass them, they catch the moonlight, sort of sending it reflecting away from you. But it catches your eye because you see things moving within it as you walk past. You catch sight of a few of them, like you're seeing the same reflection, but in multiple of them. You see.
So wait, it's like a bunch of.
It's just a
like
bunch of
ice
like icy
stalactites.
ice, yeah, but they're reflecting things, and you see rows upon rows of books lining the walls.
Oh, the book.
And they begin crumbling away slowly around you.
Oh no! Oh God! So much was lost. So much was lost.
Richter, friend, are you okay?
You
Talking
do
to
you,
yourself?
do you see anything in these spires?
Do I see anything?
Do you see anything?
Looking towards one of them, you see yourself reflected in it. But a darker self. The part of you that you fear. The part of you that if you were to let the darkness take you, that is who you would become. And you stare into your own reflection.
We should move on from this place.
Oh, I miss those books though.
Richter, I'd like you to roll me a d3, please.
Oh, 3.
So just roll a d6, and then 1 and 2 is 1, 2 and 3 is 2.
Oh, okay.
No, 3 and 4 is 2, 5 and 6 is 3.
So it rolled as a 6. So is that a
So
3?
it's a 3.
Right.
Okay. You continue on. Valentine, can you roll me a d10, please?
Okay. Oof, that's a. Oh, sorry, D10.
D10.
There we go. That is a 5.
A 5. You come out of the forest to a stretch of open plains, still heavy with snow, but sort of stretches out away from you. You can faintly see on the other side of this large sort of open field-like area, the forest seems to continue. But you can see something crashing, or a few things crashing across, almost galloping across in a herd across these open plains. Zook, they reflect the moonlight. It shimmers off them, crystalline in nature. But these aren't the small winged things that you saw before. These are is it bipedal is 2 legs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quadrupedals 4.
They're bipedal, running almost like in humanoid form, occasionally dipping their arms down into the snow. Their entire body almost like icicles piercing up all across their back. Their arms just a structure of ice and hardened sort of snow. their limbs thicker at the base and thinner where they attach to the kind of muscular upper torso. You recognize them almost immediately as earth elementals, but made of ice.
Oh.
Maybe 6 or 7 of them just gallop and crash across this open plain a ways away.
Do they seem like a little family, or does it seem like they have purpose the way they move?
Roll me a nature check.
Oh my god, that's a 2 plus 7, so 9.
Looks like a herd. They're just sort of galloping across. You can hear like that noise where if you're stepping on like a frozen lake, that of like breaking ice and glass as they're galloping across.
Nice.
Does only Zook see them, or do we all see them?
You all see them, but Zook's eyes are so keen he can make out a lot more details.
Wow. True fascinating force of nature.
Are they Zook?
Well, they're like great husks of ice, but with intention and movement. Well, they're elementals.
Like
I didn't
Cinder?
know such. Yes, like Cinder, but I don't think they'd get along, if you know what I mean. Very different in character.
In temperament.
Having seen a bit of them, and then having Zook tell me that what I saw was an elemental, could I send a message to it in Primordial?
Yes.
Let's give it a shot. Okay. Complete. Yeah. Sending doesn't indicate where the sender's location is, does it?
Nope.
Okay. Okay. In ice speak. Hello, friends. We are travelers, lost in this beautiful forest. Be so kind as to say where the nearest settlement might be. With love, Gypsies.
Great sign off.
You watch as Richter casts glyphs about him and closes his eyes, counting on his fingers. And you've seen him cast the sending spell many a time. You know what he's doing. The herd crashes to a stop. The one at the head sort of stopping and slowing. You see its icy form kind of moving around until it locks on to where you are, Richter, across this plain. It just stands still, but you can see it doesn't have eyes, it's just reflective ice. It turns, looking towards you.
Yeah, we just wave.
They start charging.
You hear a broken, cracking, shattering language in your head. You can make out its semblance is in the same language as yours, but just with it's like almost a different accent, like such a thick accent for each of the different primordial languages.
Like, I'm Spanish, but he's Colombian.
Exactly like that. And
Ignorant.
you hear essentially along the lines of no settlements lie here, save for the palace. You are close. She knows all. She is queen.
Oh, they're fucking centuries.
Guys, I might have just told the guards that we're here.
What?
They continue crashing on to, there's no west, but from where you are, it would be east.
Away.
Yeah, not in the direction you're going. They're kind of crashing off in a different direction.
I relay the information.
Well, that's just perfect. Now she knows we're on our way.
I think that the Badger family will probably be spreading quite a few rumors. Hungry boy.
Yeah.
Well, at least she doesn't know who we are or where we are, so to speak.
I'm sure she knows exactly where we are.
Right, so we might as well get there quickly then.
Okay.
Thatcher's got a point.
We're close.
You continue on, crossing this plain until you reach the forest on the other side and continue through it. Zook, can you roll me a d3, please?
It's a 1.
So 1. You press on through the woods for some time. You don't know how long. You sense with every step Valentine becoming more and more grumpy and put about. But you also all feel it too. Almost like his emotions have some kind of sway over you all. You feel this anger too, this annoyance at being cold and
coldness.
having to walk and you can almost, like, you know, when someone's really grumpy and they're really grumpy around you and it immediately pushes onto you, and as soon as it goes onto you, they aren't grumpy anymore, and Valentine suddenly starts to kind of perk up, pushing his emotions almost away from him.
Offloading them onto everyone else.
Until Valentine, you point, shouting, "There!" Between the tall snow-capped trees, clouds of snow and midnight mist, you see a slanted structure, sitting angled and precariously atop a high cliff of blue rock. A crystalline stronghold. Moonlight reflects and dances across its many spires and sharp crenellations, reaching for the large, bright white, ever-present moon. Warm light can faintly be seen through high windows, bright reflections shimmering and flying about the sky above the cold castle. A winding path can be seen coiling its way up the flat side of the cliff, through icy gatehouses and frozen courtyards up to the main spires. A faint storm rumbles in the distance, far to the right-hand side of you somewhere, a ways away. Valentine, you recognise this as the Winter Queen's stronghold.
That should be it. The palace up ahead. I have a few ideas of how we could get in.
Do you know if there's a secret way in?
Well, I don't know of any secret way, but I could cloak us with illusions, I could levitate someone to a high window, and he just begins kind of rattling off like all these various, like, clearly he's thought a lot about how he's going to get back into this palace, and it's just like all these wild plans, some of them just ridiculous.
If we were to go in announced, or at least not hiding ourselves, what would be her reaction?
Well, she's not keen on visitors, and you would have a hard time winning her over, as did I. I gave her her chance to surrender, but she is cold in every sense of the word.
Doesn't she want you to repent? What if you just said that's what you wanted to do? Would she let us in?
I suppose I could lower myself for her own gratification, but frankly, I think we should explore every other opportunity.
I thought you might say that.
She knows we're here already, supposedly. So perhaps stealth option is not on the table anymore. I mean,
I suppose you're right.
you're well versed in the ways of deception. This could be a good opportunity.
That's true.
And if I want to go unnoticed and take some of my companions with me, I'm sure we could manage that.
Could be
As
done.
in split into two groups.
Well, we could tail you from a distance, at least those of us that are able to.
Yeah, Zook, could you turn us back into rats again?
I could, or pigeons, or whatever.
Could we have
can get up
waistcoats?
there. Ooh, that's waistcoats are man-made, so to speak. I don't deal in that.
That's a shame.
As sweet as it may look.
Well, being a loud man with a charming voice, I suppose I will approach undisguised.
We
With
just
whoever.
can't
suppose I
leave
could-
Valentine's going.
I could, yes, maybe a direct approach would work, now that I think about it. I'll go with, what was your name? Dallin?
Dylan?
No, Rictus, that was it, sorry.
Richter.
Just
Rictus and I will head in, whilst the rest of you tail us.
Yes. Me and Balin Wine will approach on foot.
And what will we do once we're face to face with this queen?
Well, I
Just
guess we'll
ask
cross that
for
bridge
the-
when we get to it.
I
a
see.
little bit of improvisation. It's always bound to happen.
What if
Sounds
we
like
put
the
on?
gypsy way to me.
What if we put on a ruse? If we feigned a dislike of you, Valentine, and we said that the moonstone was ours and that you stole it, and that we were just as angry and fed up with you as everyone else, as she was, and try and come to some kind of accord. Perhaps we could curry her favor through the similar dislike or detests of you.
I do
Of
like
course,
that
would be a
idea.
lie. It would all be a ruse, a very fey plan, no less.
A very good idea, though I do think it would be very hard for you to pretend to dislike me.
I think we'll just about manage it.
If you think you can do it. I
have-
see no
have
flaw in
every
that
confidence.
plan.
Shall
So-
we try it?
How are you approaching?
I imagine me and Valentine are going to approach, at least me and Valentine, and maybe someone else are going to approach directly.
Who doesn't feel
Rufus,
comfortable?
maybe, but Rufus can't lie, can he?
Rufus, how do you
No.
feel about Valentine?
He's a mischievous scoundrel who's caused nothing but havoc in my town.
Oh, that works. Yeah, great.
See, you're getting it. Very good.
Mm.
Can Rufus do a?
Just so you know, he can't lie, Valentine. He's incapable
Oh.
of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
Can
good.
I do a? Can I check my knowledge history of the Fey Court?
Of the Fey Courts.
Yeah, and if there's like a proper way for one to introduce themselves to, to like, what's the word?
Yeah,
To
yeah.
seek an audience
Yes, you definitely can.
with a unnatural 20.
The courts, the summer, the winter, the autumn and the spring, and all of the other, the unseelie, all go by essentially the same Fey laws. One of which, in terms of granting an audience or winning favour or currying favour, is with a gift. Fae love gifts. They love material things, things that they can treasure or seem valuable, even if it's something that might be trivial to them. trivial to you may not be trivial to them. Something that might be very trivial to you might trivial to them might not be so trivial to you. But a gift is what you have read.
Zook, do you think you could stroke open the bag of withholding and withdraw the biggest rough ruby you can find?
Yes, I'm sure I could try.
Unless we want to
I
try
have
something
this.
a little more.
Do we know what she values?
It's a good point.
I doubt she'll value rubies.
I have
What
this.
would you like? What would your heart desire, Valentine?
Something dramatic, but interesting. Simple and beautiful. Not just gemstones. You can find those lying in the ground, practically.
I came upon a funny little pack of cards that had some quite interesting etchings. It's quite a simple thing, but in the same manner, it's kind of bemusing. I'm gonna sort of put up a deck of many things, and sort of look at them and just go, I mean, I haven't really looked at it. I don't know what games you could play with it, but this could be interesting.
Yes, that's perfect.
Do you think she would like something like
Totally
that?
forgot I gave you that. Fucking hell.
Oh, absolutely.
This
I
is
know
not
the Queen
valuable.
is a great admirer of games.
Oh well,
Oh,
we
all
could
fair.
try giving it to her then.
Yes, no, this will do. I think Valentine kind of takes the cards from your hands and kind of examines them and kind of nods approvingly.
Do you know any games she might offer to play? It might be a challenge of some kind.
Oh, well, I think many of the games that the courtroom plays are far too complicated to explain now, but I think this should be suffice. I don't think she would lower herself to play games with the likes of us. Specifically you.
Noted, and no offense taken. So
What's
we have
the
our
story,
gift.
then? What's our...
I think a simple one. We have come here for something that was a slight bending of truth. We can say something was taken from us by an old associate of ours, and that we have come here to bring both this gift and his repentance, and to discuss the location of that which was taken.
I might need... Do you have any rope or shackles? He kind of creates a sort of minor illusion of chains around his wrist.
It would be better, surely, for you to offer repentance willingly rather than under duress, no?
Well, I thought I'd make a show of it.
Oh, well, yes, you are you. All right.
And there's the matter of
Besides, I have
some
to
of
think
us
about
entering.
my reputation.
Shall we all head in together, or would you like, I don't know, say myself and Dutch to trail behind?
If you can do so quietly, then it may be to our advantage not to have to know exactly who it is. The only problem is if you get discovered, then it may look suspicious why we're sneaking into her fortress.
I mean, this is no offense to Dutch. He's a pretty good thief in many ways, but
Maybe this is a solo mission.
I mean, I could
All
just
right,
tell.
but don't burn down the keep to cover your tracks,
It's made of ice, so it might be a little bit difficult.
I suppose. Don't melt the keep.
If I had such power.
Okay.
I can
suppose
cloak
we
you
better-
in invisibility, Duchess, if you need it.
Oh, that would be lovely. Thank you.
I could do the same for myself.
Just
How long does it last? Sorry, I'm just
I
looking
believe
up.
it's an hour.
I got it's only like 1 minute.
Thereabouts.
The greater is only a minute because it's way better.
Yeah.
Standard invisibility is an hour.
Okay, I can do up to 3. Yes. Oh yeah, no, it's just one person at first level.
If you stay close to us, I can mask you with druid magic as well.
I've got my ways of doing that as well.
I'll be all right with the invisibility, I think.
Sure. I can use mine and if I need to, but otherwise we can just hang back and hopefully.
Yeah.
Valentine just kind of reaches in his like tattered clothes. Kind of looks like he's reaching for something under his armpit. He kind of pulls it up and like scatters like dust all over Dutch. And as the sparkling dust settles, he kind of fades and becomes invisible.
Oh yeah, I always forget you have to get naked, otherwise they see what you're wearing.
Are you naked right now?
Do I not need?
Wait, is he referring to me?
No.
No.
Dutch was gonna just start. Like, wait, how does it work? Can you see my clothes?
No, you're good. You're good, brother.
I actually want to be naked.
I mean, no one can see you, so it doesn't matter.
I look between where Dutch's legs were and see a telltale shimmer swinging back and forth.
Like fucking Predator. Oh no.
Okay, those that are stealthing, give me a stealth roll.
I'm going to, instead of burning a invisibility spell slot, I'm going to use my cantrip Shadow to draw in the shadows around myself and sort of make myself harder to detect. And then I'll use invisibility if I need to.
What does invisibility do? Is it advantage or?
It is advantage, yeah.
Oh, sick. So that would have been an 18, or oh yeah, I'll take that one. So that is a 24.
And Dylan?
34.
34. 24 and a 34.
That's the third 18 I've rolled this evening.
Very good.
Oh, well done.
Keep rolling 18s.
Nice.
What dice is
Keep it
this?
up.
Oh, it's not the bad one.
You two, I imagine, just move back slightly to the sides, and the rest of the party steps forwards towards the first gate. As you approach this large frozen gatehouse, there is stone beneath crystallized ice that all kind of stretches up. Imagine if like icicles are formed, but rather than forming down from it, they all form upwards, creating these sort of like spiked crenellations. You see 2 of these spiked crenellations shift and move, like cracking as some icicles snap and move off. And you see them spread small crystalline wings above the backs, behind their head, spreading it out like these humanoid crystal gargoyles. They shake some of the snow off at your approach and watch you as you come towards the gate.
As we get up to the gate, within like about 10 feet of it, I would like to turn to face one of the gargoyles and... Should I do this in... I can't speak Sylvan. Should I do this in Primordial or Common? I'll do it in Common. And I say, Hail and good day. We weary travelers from the dour land of the mortals have come to seek an audience with thy most gracious queen. Prithee, grant us an audience with her, for we have brought gifts, both physical and of grace, gesturing at Valentine. I'm gonna do that as a persuasion.
You can roll me a persuasion check, yeah.
That is 26.
Nice.
A wash of wind and snow blasts down, starting at the top of the cliff where the great palace is, and making its way through each gatehouse. The various gates crashing open outwards until it finally reaches the front one. The doors are flung open of the gatehouse. Snow and wind batters you all as you hold yourselves firm, your cloaks whipping about you. The gargoyles, all of the snow sort of like, and even bits of crystal kind of fly off and around, some hitting you and scattering off. The way is open, all the way to the top.
We proceed after bowing to the gargoyle, and we proceed.
Valentine doesn't bow.
No.
With Valentine in roped shackles, you escort him up the cliff, further and further. Valentine, can you roll me a d3, please?
A d6.
So yeah, d6, and then it's half basically.
4, so 2.
So a 2. Okay. You walk for a time through gatehouse after gatehouse. And each one you get to is more frozen and more covered in these winged gargoyles as the ones before. Further and further up. Until finally you make your way through the final one towards the large doors of this slanted crystal palace. As you approach, there's a loud as the kind of sheet of ice that has frozen over the doors crack and they open inwards. Wind sort of sweeps in, snow blowing into the kind of long foyered hall. The familiar burning of dark blue braziers lights your path forwards into this dark interior.
Pudding.
Stepping in, you find yourself on a smooth, icy marble floor. It's slippery. There's a sheet almost of ice above it, but beneath you can see beautiful, carved, detailed marble filigree all around the ground. Underneath the ice, warped and sort of reflected through the kind of glassy structures that have grown over, you see beautiful metal and stonework of one of the most majestic palaces that you've ever seen. Tall, curved roof. Many different small icy staircases leading all over the place. Like a waterfall has washed down and frozen midstream. All of these crystals and ice. It would be incredibly dangerous to even attempt climbing any of these slippery staircases. They're just basically slides at this point.
Can I quickly lean into Dutch at this point and just say to him,
he is invisible. Do you know where he is?
Oh shit! Yeah. No.
We're like hanging back, aren't we? And...
Yeah.
Are you entering the palace too? I imagine.
Yeah. There wasn't like any other way to go, was there? Well, the palace itself is kind of crystalled, frozen on this cliff at an angle. There wasn't any obvious other paths, but the doors close in behind you. More braziers appear, lighting your path down an immensely long interiored corridor, eventually lighting the far end, where you can see rows upon rows of balconies and seats like that of a king's court. But no sound. No one stirs in these icy halls.
No movement at all. You hear a voice, soft, feminine, beautiful, call out from what looks to be a frozen throne at the far end of the chamber. And you can faintly see a veiled woman sitting on this throne. Her hair, silvery white, cascades all the way down the steps of the throne, maybe 20 feet, just sort of cascading out all around like a snow drift. A silver crystalline spired crown upon her head, and a white shawled veil covering well, you can't see too closely, but Zook, you would see the frame of what appears to be a beautiful face beneath, but you can't. It is sort of shrouded. The voice echoes, soft and beautiful. You return with him. You bring gifts. But you also bring him. Come closer.
I step closer.
You begin making your way further down this corridor. Valentine, looking around, it is all empty inside, as it was when you were last here. No courts of shadows or other creatures, just her and some of the others that follow her.
Can I don't know if it's stealth, but I just want to kind of almost like ventriloquism, like murmur, be wary to like the
To the group.
To the group, yeah.
You can roll me a sleight of hand.
Okay. That is a 32.
32. Whoever's nearest Valentine, well, you managed to whisper this to the others.
He's just going to kind of keep his head bowed and kind of look as wretched and just as wretched as possible and kind of repentant. His hands bound in rope.
Tell
We
me,
come.
why do you come?
I do a bow. I get down on a knee and do a full-headed bow, like almost a full genuflection, and sort of rise again. Your Grace, we thank you for your time. This one, Valentine, is in our company because he has taken something of ours. It is our understanding that Valentine brought this valuable item here, without permission and without leave from us. And that while here, he continued this insult by further disgracing himself in front of your own court. We would wish to rectify this mistake. We wish to offer a full apology, to bring you a gift, and for Valentine to offer repentance, so that we might uncover the location of this trifle of ours.
And what say you, Valentine?
Richter fights everything in him not to dig Valentine in the ribs.
Oh, most gracious queen, he says, hanging his head. I have come begging your forgiveness, seeing as your overwhelming power over your subjects has been so thorough. I know there is no hope for forgiveness in your heart, but I ask for it anyway.
Make me a. Are you persuading or deceiving?
I guess deceiving. There's no way he would like.
Roll me a deception check.
Also, I sent you something.
Oh, did you? Oh, sorry. Let me see.
Oh dear.
Yes. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, I got a 33 for my deception. He kind of throws himself onto the ground, his kind of tattered clothes like
seems very
sprawling
genuine.
everywhere. I'm so sorry.
Enough of this! She summons before her a great scepter with a single huge mooned disc on the end, just out of thin air in front of her, and slams it down into the ice on the ground in front. Kung, kung, kung. It rings out around you. I need you all to make me charisma saving throws.
Oh,
Is it magical?
Oh, good.
It is magical.
I would like to have not approached and sort of hung back, and sort of like if there was somewhere where I could actually hide behind, sort of out of sight.
Yeah, you would not be in the radius of this. Neither would Dutch if he's hanging back too. Or are you not hanging back, Dutch?
I was hanging back. That was the plan. I was waiting for Dylan
So
to pop off.
everyone other than you two needs to roll.
26.
26.
Yep, I got a +9 on my charisma saving throw.
12. Damn.
I got 18.
An 18. Zook, what did you get, sorry?
16.
A 16. Ruthus and Richter, you fight this urge, this feeling within you, and manage to shake it off. But Zook and Valentine, you are stuck within a zone of truth, and you must speak it now within this zone. So it doesn't affect you, Ruthus. Sorry.
Oh.
Kung, kung, kung. It rings out, and you all feel the hum of the moon stone or the moon scepter. She wields it.
This is going to be interesting.
You are looking for this, but it is mine. This one here gave it to me.
What
This
if it
one-
wasn't his to give?
I can't hear you, Rupert.
What if it wasn't his to give?
Well, I'm not sure.
Your Grace, if I might say, what you wield, I'm sure you know, is a powerful item. We are familiar with these items, and I can tell you, since we came into possession of them, nothing but misfortune has fallen to our feet. We are assailed on all sides by forces of darkness, villainy, and greed, who would seek to take these from us. We have devoted ourselves to safeguarding them from terrible forces that would seek perhaps to unrend this very reality. This is a wonderful, incredible palace of yours. And I beseech of thee, please, do not invite misfortune from terrible forces.
Smooth
By holding on to
words you have. Smooth words indeed. But you bring misfortune here. You bring misfortune to me. and she points towards Valentine, clicking her fingers, and he evaporates, disappearing. I see through these simple tricks. Now I have this. You should know that, Valentine the Banished.
Valentine's going to leap from kind of behind, not behind the throne, but from nearby, brandishing a dagger.
Oh, God.
Die, witch! And he's going to try and sink it deep into her bosom.
Roll me an attack.
That stone is mine!
Fucking
27.
Chaos Merchant.
Classic illusions. What did you get to hit?
27.
A 27. Shink! You pierce it down into her sort of upper abdomen here. She screams, her hair kind of coiling back around her, writhing off the throne as they go tumbling down onto the side. How much damage did you do?
It's only a dagger.
Well, it's a D4 plus your
7.
dexterity. 7 points of damage. Let me quickly write that down.
And while she's distracted, Valentine is going to scrabble for that stone.
Well,
sorry, guys.
As they go tumbling off the throne, blood soaking her pristine white gown that billowed down, you see the veil falls from her face as she stumbles to the side. And rather than seeing this disgusting hag type horrific face that Valentine has described, you see the face of a beautiful woman, perhaps in her mid-20s, late 20s, 30s. You see the face of Spera. And we will end today's session there.
Motherfucker.
That's a twist. How many years in the waiting? That holy shit.
That's only a twist.
Yeah.
3 years we've
Very
been.
cool. All right, I'm really sorry. I've got to dip straight away, guys. But I'll see you
yeah, me
later.
too.
Take care.
I'm gonna have to in a
Yeah,
second as well. But James,
Thanks for watching,
fantastic
everyone.
to have you.
Lovely to
Yeah.
have
That was
James
amazing.
around, causing
Yeah.
chaos. Every fucking word out your mouth has been a lie. It's so good.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, peeps. We're off. We're in a weird stream.